petition to the president regarding the committee investigating probing the removal of the Chief Justice, that some of the justices on that committee, together with some of the lawyers for the petitioners, were seen at a restaurant in Accra discussing the matter. And for that reason, he was calling on the president to dissolve the committee because, in his view, that interaction had the potential of compromising the process. After that, he went on air to discuss all of that and made social media posts, according to national security officials. They say that those publications were false and they were meant to disturb the system. And so he's been arrested. Of course, now we know he's been released or granted bail. But the matter is that he published false news according to the national security, and they'll be hoping to get to the bottom of that. We'll discuss all of that on this show and tell you what the publication of false news means, what threshold there is to it, what elements there are, and what punishments Mr. Ababu is likely to suffer should he be found guilty of that. Also in the same breath, the MPP chairman for Ashanti region, popularly known as Wontumi Ntwibosiako, his residence was raided or stormed yesterday by, again, officials of national security. We do not know why they went there, but they went there for some search. We don't know whether they were successful with the search or not. Some interactions occurred between senior officials of the MPP who came there to support their colleague and the security officials, and they left with the understanding that the gentleman in question, Wontumi, will present himself to the security officials. We do not know whether the security officials invited him before and he refused to attend. We do not also know exactly for what, they are, inviting him. Of course, we know that there's been some issues around illegal mining, Akunta mining, where Wontumi is a director and shareholder. We do not know what the other issues are. What we do also know is that some of his accounts have been frozen. It does appear that the national security is involved in some grand investigation in respect of Wontumi. We are eager to know what the exact issues are, and we'll discuss that also on the show. But the question that has arisen from the quarters of the MPP is that it does appear that these raids and arrests are becoming one too many. Do you share that view, or you think it is accountability in motion? The new government promised to hold public officials, past and present, accountable. Do you think that is what is in motion, or you think that this amounts to persecution? We want to hear from you. Also, this week, we saw that the petitions to remove the Chief Justice, that matter has taken a new twist. The Chief Justice herself has sued a number of people, including the committee members and Attorney General, because she's raised a number of issues. She thinks that the committee should be dissolved and the warrant suspending her should be rescinded, and that she's raised specific issues around two of the persons. We'll discuss all of that. But seminal among this is the fact that the former Attorney General, the Honorable Godfrey Adaming, is her lawyer. Many have raised issues about the optics. Many have said that given the very nature of the process, given how political it has become, it was not a wise idea to make Godfrey Adaming the lawyer, given that he is the immediate past Attorney General, and so links him directly, and of course links the Chief Justice suspended directly to the past regime. What do you think? There are others who think that why not? She has a right to any lawyer of her choice, and she has to pick a lawyer that she feels comfortable with, a lawyer who can defend her cause. And so legally, there is absolutely nothing wrong with Godfrey Adaming representing the Chief Justice. We want to know what you think in respect of that. The rains also have started coming, and there's been some decongestion exercise underway in Accra, in Kumasi, and in Koforidua, and other parts of the country by the mayors of these cities. People have raised concerns that they hope it is not a 9-day wonder. The traders and the hawkers are not happy. But what do you think? Is it the right way to go? What can we do? These traders, when we move them from the streets, where do they go? Is this the right thing to do? Is it the right moment to do this? What also happens to the assemblies? They sit aloof and make all these people come on the street. They sit aloof, the rains come, and there is flooding around the place. We'll put all of these issues together and then discuss them. This is the big issue on 97.3 City FM and also on Channel 1 Television. We're also live on our socials. We'll be happy to hear your views. I'll take a short break. I will return, provide you some updates, introduce my guests, and we'll get the discussions underway. Once again, this is a big issue. You are welcome.
Calling all farmers, agribusinesses, and innovators, this is your chance to shine. Channel 1 TV invites you to exhibit at AgriFair 2025, one of Ghana's largest agriculture exhibitions. From Friday 20th to Sunday the 22nd of June, the A4 Sutherland Children's Park in Accra will come alive with the very best from Ghana's agribusiness sector. Are you a farmer with fresh produce of any kind? Be it crops, livestock or poultry, fisheries or aquaculture, or you're a supplier of agro inputs and processing machinery, this is your platform to connect with the world. AgriFair 2025 is more than an exhibition. Showcase your fresh produce, share your expertise and experience, and grow your business. So, to all farmers with fresh produce, livestock or poultry, fisheries or aquaculture products, come, sell, network, and expand your business. AgriFair 2025, where culture meets innovation. Register now to secure your spot. Call us on 0205 973 973. Come one, come all. Enjoy the freshest farm produce at unbeatable prices. And treat yourself to sizzling kebabs made from beef, mutton, pork, chicken, and more. Great taste, great value. Don't miss out. The AgriFair 2025 is powered by Channel 1 TV with support from 97.3 City FM and is proudly sponsored by Exim Bank, Legacy Crop Improvement Center, and Development Bank Ghana.
You're welcome back. This is the big issue on 97.3 City FM, Channel 1 Television, on YouTube as well. 2 or 3 key issues we are looking at. The BNI rates on MPPs Alfred Kumi Ababu and Chairman Wontumi. We're asking whether this is a legitimate enforcement of law and accountability or is an abuse of power, as others have said. The government has said they will hold past and present officers of the state accountable. That is one, but will also ensure the sanctity of the state. Wontumi is not a public official. Alfred Kumi Ababu not a public official. But the national security says there are questions they have to answer. We do not know which specific questions that Wontumi is to answer. But we do know that there were some issues around illegal mining, Akunta mining, which is a shareholder and director. Those matters have come up many times in several months. The media coalition against Galamsey has been on that matter. The CID has been petitioned to investigate the matter and all of that. We do not know whether this particular raid or search of his house is connected to the Akunta mining or the Galamsey matters, but we are yet to hear from the national security on specifically why they went to his house. Of course, they were NPP officials, as is expected, or as was expected, who came to his rescue. We do not know where he was, but indeed later on he spoke and said he was calling on Ghanaians to rise against what was happening, and he felt that he was being persecuted. MPP activist Alfred Kumi Ababu, also known as Adenta Kumi, has been trying to be MP for Adenta for a while now. He was arrested because national security says he published false information. What is the false information? He petitioned the president for the dissolution of the committee set up to investigate the removal of the CJ or to probe into the removal processes, or as part of the processes, the removal of the CJ. He subsequently went ahead to give interviews and make posts according to the national security. His claim is that 2 of the justices on that committee were seen with one of the lawyers for some of the petitioners at a hotel in Accra, at a restaurant in Accra, and they were discussing the subject matter of the removal of the CJ. Subsequently, the restaurant or some people released CCTV footage of the incident, and it does appear that maybe some other story was in there. We'll look at all of that today. So for that reason, the national security feels that Mr. Kumi has peddled falsehood or has published falsehood, and so he has to answer questions for it. He was released yesterday after we understand that Afenyo Makin, minority leader, and a few others went to his rescue to speak to the NIB, etc. So we'll look at that. Also, related to that is the Chief Justice's removal process, which we will discuss. The CJ herself has sued the Attorney General and sued members of the 5-member committee set up by the President to investigate her. She's particularly taken issue with the two justices on the committee, Justice Poma and Justice Asiedu. She has some specific issues against them. She thinks that the two must be disqualified from sitting on the case. We'll look at that and see whether there are merits in that at all. Also, there's been some decongestion exercise happening in Accra. Every now and then these things happen, and we are asking whether it's a 9-day wonder when every now and then a mayor tries to decongest the city, try to raise the city off traders or hawkers who make it difficult for pedestrians to move around, etc. It's a 9-day wonder. We see that exercise going on in Accra, in Kumasi, and some parts of Koforidua. I will provide you some updates now. And then, so the new Patriotic Party parliamentary aspirant, Alfred Abebi-Okumi, has been released from the custody of the National Investigations Bureau. His release comes after a high-level engagement between security officials and the minority leader in Parliament. He was charged with false publication related to claims he made on social media platform X. And during a radio interview, the allegations were tied to his petition calling for the dissolution of the committee probing the suspended CJ, Justice Gertrude Tokonu. His release brings a temporary close to a case that has sparked widespread political commentary and concerns over press freedom and individual rights.
Abebi-Okumi was picked up by the National Investigative Bureau operatives on Friday, prompting concerns among party supporters.
I don't want to handcuff.
Please, why are you sending him?
Bring him and stand up. No, come.
No, why are you sending him? Pacho, what the name for him? No, what the name for him? What the name for him? Please, why are you sending him? Why are you sending him?
She has to record so that they know.
Why are you sending him?
I don't know what. You told me at CID. Let's go.
The arrest stems from comments he made regarding his petition to the President, urging the dissolution of the committee investigating petitions against suspended Chief Justice, Justice Gertrude Tokonu. In the petition, Kumi alleged that on May 15, 2025, after the committee's inaugural sitting, Justices Gabriel Pwamang, Kwame Adibu-Asiedu, and Supreme Court Justice Yoni Kolindi were seen dining with Thaddeus Sori, counsel for petitioner Daniel Ofori, at Santoku restaurant in Accra's airport residential area. He further claimed that the group was overheard discussing details of the petition, a statement authorities consider both unsubstantiated and damaging.
He's been charged a few minutes ago. So they cautioned him and then they charged him. So as far as the processes is concerned, we are almost through with the processes, because once there is an interrogation and you are cautioned first, and then they press charges against you, then you're almost through. Technically, I'm sure the next should either be in court or we've put in a bail application, so let's see how it goes.
What do they say his offences are?
False publication. False publication in relation to an interview he granted on a traditional media, and then something he posted on his X account, and then a petition he wrote to the President. False publication in respect of these three I have mentioned. So obviously, once you grant interview in relation to a petition, the petition will also have to be added to it.
Following news of his arrest, several NPP members gathered at the National Investigative Bureau Regional Office in show of solidarity. Minority leader Alexander Fenyamaking has criticized the arrest, describing the approach as heavy-handed and raising concerns over freedom of expression.
Someone has petitioned the president. If you are not happy with it, do you get the NIB to storm his residence, an unarmed citizen of Ghana? Well, we've seen him. The NIB officials claim they are doing investigation, and they are not done. So we've just left him. Fortunately, his lawyer is there. Let us see how the government dances around this.
All right. Meanwhile, Deputy Interior Minister Ebenezer Oklete Telabi has defended the attempted arrest of the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the NPP, Bernard Enchibosi, popularly known as Chairman Wontumi. He maintains that the operation was justified and carried out in accordance with national security protocols. Speaking on City FM's Eyewitness News, Telabi dismissed claims of political motivation, emphasizing that the National Intelligence Bureau acted within its legal mandate. His comments come in response to accusations by Chairman Wontumi that the NIB and the Ghana Police Service stormed his residence as part of a politically motivated attempt to intimidate him.
The security services are on top of their job. They know what they are about, and there is nobody in this country who is above the law. When you fall foul of the law will come out you. Like I'm going to borrow the Chief Justice's, the former Chief Justice's statement. He said the law is the law, and nobody can cross it. The security services do not just get up and do anything without recourse to intelligence, without recourse to some legal directives. So if what Wontumi is on the radar and they want him, nobody can take them from getting at Wontumi, supposed to come and answer, some questions.
All right, so that was Ebenezer Oklete Telabi, Deputy Interior Minister, speaking there on, or trying to justify why the security officials went to the residence of Chairman Wontumi. To help me do the discussion this morning, Andrews Apia Dankwa is a private legal practitioner and is with the Movement for Change, spokesperson for the Movement for Change. Vincent Asifua, Member of Parliament for Old Tafo, joins me as well on this. Franklin Kujo, President Imani Africa. Ni Kpakpo Samoa Ado, private legal practitioner, member of the NDC Communications and Legal Teams. And Justice Abdullahi, private legal practitioner and law lecturer at the University for Professional Studies in Accra. Gentlemen, you're welcome to the program.
Yeah, thanks.
I start off with you, Andrew. How have you been?
I'm doing great yourself.
How's practice?
Really inside.
Nice one. I mean, interesting happenings within the week. This thing about national security officials supposedly doing their work. People think that the incidents are becoming one too many. For you, is it a case of the national security doing its work, or you think that they are overstepping their bounds? You've seen the arrest of Alfred Kumi Ababio, a person you should know very well, because he was a member of the Movement for Change. Yeah. And later on, I think he made a U-turn and went back to the NPP. We've seen Wontumi as well, whose house we understand was raided. We have also seen in Team Fojo's house, raided some time back, Baumia's aide, Kendo Furata, and a few others. Is it that this is how they should do their work, or they are just doing their work normally, or you think that it's becoming one too many, as elements in the NPP have alleged? What's your thinking?
Yeah, so let me wish your viewers a good morning yourself. A good morning. My honest view is that this certainly isn't about the national security doing their job. We have the Ghana Police Service, we have a system, and I heard you talk about accountability. But accountability must be by the law. We've created institutions, we've given them powers, and those institutions must be made to work. When you take the case of Adeta Kumi, I can't believe how a whole national security operative will go and arrest Adeta Kumi on a charge of
publication of false news,
which is a misdemeanor. You understand? As in, couldn't the police have called him? But to take, as in the whole national security and go and pick up Adeta Kumi in the manner, in the Rambo style manner they did, as in, for a country that is supposed to be governed under the rule of law, you understand, where justice must not only be done, but must manifestly be seen to be done. I think the optics are very wrong, and it doesn't bode well in terms of causing the people to be faithful or to have confidence in the system, in the ability of the system to protect their lives, protect their liberties, and also protect their fundamental rights to pursue their own happiness. So in as much as we believe that the principles of probity and accountability, which underpins our constitution, must be entrenched and it must be followed, and I support the investigations being undertaken on all these people, but it must be done within the confines of the law, and at all times the principles of the rule of law must not only be done, but it must be manifestly be seen to be done. And in my view, the Rambo style manner in which the national security purportedly is carrying out these operations, and especially with the charges that are being leveled against them, for me, I think that it doesn't bode well for our democracy at all. It's very needless. It's very needless, and in my view, this is not to support anybody, but my personal view is it must be condemned in no uncertain terms.
So do we know whether Adeta Kumi was invited and he failed to attend? And would that have changed anything in the manner they went to arrest him, if he was invited and he failed to honor the invitation?
My point is, why is it not the police handling these issues? You see, national security are supposed to be handling issues of grave national security issues. Why we have a police service? They are the people mandated to handle criminal criminal acts. Because once you bring the national security in, then the assumption is that it's a very grave offense that bows on the security of the state.
Yes. How about, I mean, national security perhaps got involved because of the very nature of the allegations made. Section 208 of the Criminal Offences Act, Act 29, deals with publication of false news, and I read portions of it. So the person who publishes or reproduces a statement, rumor, or report which is likely to cause fear and alarm to the public or to disturb the public peace, knowing or having reason to believe that the statement, rumor, or report is false, commits a misdemeanor. It is not a defense to a charge under subsection 1 of that the person charged did not know or did not have reason to believe that the statement, rumor, or report was false, unless it is proved that prior to the publication, that person took reasonable measures to verify the accuracy of the statement, rumor, or report. So here we see the element of likely to disturb public peace here. And given the very nature of the removal process of the CJ and how it is becoming charged political matter now, MPP holding demonstrations here and there, becoming a very charged political issue with an allegation that seeks to undermine the process, that the persons involved in the investigation are meeting with another side, the other side of it, to discuss this. And in fact, the petition and the commentary on it from Alfred Kumi suggests that there were people seated at the restaurant who overheard them discussing the specific matter of the removal of the CJ. That is quite a serious matter. And shouldn't the national security get involved, knowing that the issue could get out of hands and disturb public peace and public order?
No. At the end of the day, under our laws, who are mandated to investigate these issues? The national security, is the police service. So we want a system that is governed by the rule of law. We want our institutions to work. We don't want any confusion. You understand? Because you want to create a system where we can predict things. So where there's a breach of 208 or any section of the criminal code, who is supposed to act? supposing a private person, when I say private, I mean somebody who is not a politician, breaches Section 208, who is the one going to? Is it national security? Is it the police?
But shouldn't the nature of the allegation be considered as well? But the national security does investigations anyway.
So yes, they do. But who prosecutes? Is it
the Attorney General?
But it's the police that and it's a misdemeanor. It's not a felony.
But it's a misdemeanor. That is likely to disturb public peace.
But the fact that
and if public peace is disturbed to some extent, it could be a major national security matter.
Listen, the fact that the people of Ghana thought that the seriousness, because the law attaches, or you can glean how serious we perceive an offense based on whether it's a misdemeanor, a felony, the degree of the felony. So the fact that the law is saying that
it's a misdemeanor
even tells you the kind of seriousness the law attaches to the offense. So for you to go to his house in the manner that he did, with this ramble style, it's as if you're going to take some hardened criminal. It doesn't bode well. The optics are very negative for a country who is pursuing an agenda of entrenching the rule of law. The optics must matter. So for Adenta Kumi, and I'm not supporting him anyway. I think he was quite reckless in his statements personally. But to go to his house in the manner they did, come on. The optics are wrong, and it does not help in any way in building the confidence of people of Ghana to believe that they are under a system that can guarantee them their rights to their liberties. And we seem to be over making everything political. And that's why I ask a simple question. If, let's say, a regular Ghanaian made the statements that Adenta Kumi made, that I saw, and the person is not a politician, would the national security, do you honestly believe that national security would have done what they did?
So it doesn't matter whether he was invited or not, and he refused to attend to the invitation. We don't know that for a fact, but I will just assume.
But supposing he was invited, the police must handle this. You see, we shouldn't make the function of the national security.
We shouldn't debase it.
Exactly. So that when national security is undertaking a project, the fact that they are involved tells you that no, this is a serious matter. If national security are going to be used for frivolous issues, then why do we need a different security agency apart from the police? Because the reason why we have the police, we have the national security, is because we believe that there are certain issues that borders on our security that are so serious that the police shouldn't handle them. That's why national security people don't even have uniforms. We are not supposed to even know that. But if then they were going to use national security for frivolous issues, and then also make them a political weapon, then we have issues. And it shouldn't matter whether it was the NPP doing it or it was the NDC doing it. Because the NPP did same, the NPP did same, the NDC also doing it. For me, it's a worry. We shouldn't use the national security as a political weapon to persecute our political opponents. And that doesn't bode well for the kind of system we want to create. So for me, as much as I disagree vehemently, and I think that Adenta Kumi's statements were reckless, and I think we should also discuss that.
Sure.
It's important that politicians understand the role they play in this society. You shouldn't think that because you're a politician, you can just go and say any reckless statement, and you understand. But in spite of the reckless nature of his statement and how they are handling themselves, Adenta Kumi and the NPP, it does not justify the actions of the national security in my view.
I see. Vincent, welcome to the program. Adenta Kumi made a comment many have described as reckless, a comment that is likely to breach the peace from the provision of the law, Section 208 of Act 29. So national security went to pick him up, to interrogate him, etc. Some of your colleagues went there and got him released. His lawyer, etc. were there. What's your thinking around this? I mean, recklessness met with national security officials just to bring the matter to a place we can all appreciate, to maintain law and order, sanity in our public discourse.
Well, so let me say a very good morning to you. and to your cherished viewers, and to my brother in the studio. I think that we should situate this matter in the larger perspective for us to understand what is actually happening as far as our national security apparatus is concerned. And it is a very troubling and worrying development because if you trace it very well, you realize that what is happening today actually started right after the December 7th elections. And when I say right after the December 7th elections, I mean at least after 5 p.m. on the 7th of December when polls actually closed. You remember a day after the elections, that was I think on the 8th or 9th of December, thereabout, persons who were known to be NDC supporters, somewhere in Tachima, was able to break into a police station, stopped coalition, rendered the police helpless and useless, took custody of every equipment or whatsoever that was in the custody of the Ghana Police Service in Tachima. It happened in a number of places as well, as we are all aware. Right after the elections, the first raid, in fact, an unnecessary raid that was carried out by national security apparatus with the support of the military or some persons in the military and some persons who were neither part of the national security officially, formally, and neither part of the Ghana military service officially or formally, went into the house of Ken Ofori-Atta, raided his house needlessly. You also remember that Professor Ameyaw Kofi, we had these same guys or some of these guys who are seen to be part of the national security raiding the house of Professor Ameyaw Kofi. Ernest Addison, the former governor of the Bank of Ghana. You had the national security apparatus entering his house, raiding his house unnecessarily, needlessly, by men who call themselves members of the NIB or National Security.
Why do you describe them as unnecessarily? I mean, it depends on what they were looking for. So in the case of Ameyaw Kofi, we've seen him now hauled before court. He's been charged. Perhaps what they were looking for in his house has been found. That is why they have now pressed charges against him. So you may not be able to just call it unnecessarily because they know what they were looking for and they were conducting investigations. And once they had the necessary warrant that allows them to do so legally, that should be fine, shouldn't it?
See, I agree with what my colleague in the studios said when he categorized Adenta Kumi, for lack of better words, as someone who is harmless. See, Professor Ameyaw Kofi, come on. Why? A simple invitation to him could have given you what you needed. You need not unnecessarily raid his house. This same man actually went after Katache Frifa in the name of national security. Needlessly, once again. Yesterday, in the house of Chairman Wuntumi, a person who has been officially invited to come to your office so that you could engage him or question him as to what you need or on matters that borders on national security, so to say, because he has been invited by the national security. You could not even wait till Monday for you to engage him and solicit for the information that you need. But you chose to attempt to raid his house.
No, but Vincent, I mean, in the case of Wontumi, so I'm dealing with this because you are.
You want to say that they have warrant and all
Yeah,
those
so
kind
you
of
are
things.
seeking to place this. You are seeking to place in a certain wider context, which is fine. So you dealt with after elections and all of that. You're talking about Wontumi. There was.
Right.
Are you saying, as a practitioner, I mean, are you saying that there's no place for a search? The fact that you've been invited does not stop the system from conducting a legal search or a lawful search in your house. So no matter how you term it, you could term it a raid or national security storming your house, but there's a place in the law for search. And so the question we should be asking was whether the procedure was followed. Shouldn't that be the question?
Procedure is very key in the management of the national security. So I'm just saying that the first point of call is invite the person, solicit for the information that you want. The person may willingly be interested in giving to you what you need. You need not ambush the person, create fear and panic, because there are some civilians who may be undergoing, or if you like, experiencing personal health issues. I am hearing that the wife of Adenta Kumi has had a miscarriage. I don't know whether it is true or not. I'm yet to call the wife because the wife is a friend, Yvonne. But that is what I'm hearing.
But shouldn't you have called or verified that before putting it on air? So once you have put it on air and
given your
caliber, I mean your
I'm
status
just saying
as
that
an MP,
I am hearing.
that
I
is
saw
heavy.
it on social media this morning. I could have called to ask, but I'm just saying that if that is the case, it could have been avoided by a simple invitation. That is why I'm saying that the categorization of my colleague in the studio, that, for lack of better words, Adenta Kumi is harmless, and a simple invitation could have solved this unnecessary raiding. Because you see, if you are raiding the house of Professor Ayaw Kofi, come on, be serious a bit. This Ghana is a serious country. Professor Ayaw Kofi, what is so harmful about Professor Ayaw Kofi that you need people in mask? Okay, people wielding AK-47 and Nest Addison, people in mask wielding AK-47, causing fear and panic, as if we are in a military junta. Ghana is a democratic state, and we should be very careful about how we go about these things, because you can see the trail right from 7th December 2020. You can see the trail right from 7th December 2024. If care is not taken, yes, down the lane, political parties were made to band their vigilante groups. If you don't take care, these guys who, as it were, paraded themselves as party persons and has been now transitioned into the national security and recklessly raiding houses of well-meaning Ghanaians, we may end up having other political parties also resurrecting their vigilante groups. That may not help us as a country.
But that's unlawful. So if they resurrect the vigilante groups, the law will deal with them. But now, with the passage of the law, this is unlawful.
I am just saying that the practice that we had before now, which gave us some amount of unanimity around the table, that as political parties, we should put our trust in the security apparatus. We should put our trust into the Ghana Police Service. We should put our trust into the Ghana military service, Ghana military. We should put our trust into the national security. But if today the Ghana Police Service will be sidestepped and the national security apparatus is being used where persons who are party, if you like, political apparatchiks, will be used to cause fear and panic in the system, it will not lead us anywhere. It will lead us to a point where every man will decide to now protect him or herself. Now, if I have to come to Adenta Kumi's issue,
Just before that, I mean, what do you say to people who say that you showed the way? In 2017, we saw similar things happen. We saw Attorney General, then Deputy, Dominic Ayeni's house raided. We saw John Jinapor. We saw even other persons, Kobna Donko and all of these people's houses raided. Then you were actively supporting it, and then it was fine. So is it after losing power, or is it in hindsight that you now realize, quote, that it is not leading us anywhere, or to not lead us anywhere, that you are making this comment? Or you think that now because the shoe is on the other foot, and so it's a painful experience to go through, that is why you are condemning it? Are you condemning it on principle or based on convenience?
I am condemning it, one, on principle, and two, because the examples that you just cited are examples that preceded the unanimity around the political space that we should ban political vigilantism.
But national security is not a political vigilante. I
am suggesting to you that at a point or in any event where the Ghana Police Service is well clothed with the power to investigate matters, simple matters like what happened with the Adenta Kumi, okay, and you want to use national security apparatus, I am suggesting to you that it is needless, and the only conclusion that I can make into it is that you just want to hand certain persons. So I am only saying that in the circumstances, we should be very careful as to how we use the national security apparatus. We should not make it ordinary. We should not make it simple for anybody to see or hear national security apparatus. Other than that, with time, it will not carry any weight. And we should be able to protect that space as a political actor. And so I am just saying that it could have been done better. The national security, or if you like, the Ghana Police Service could have been allowed to lead this invitation that if indeed Adenta Kumi has done something that is untoward, something that is not in consonance with the laws of the country, something that is not in consonance with the criminal law of Ghana, the Ghana Police is well clothed to be able to deal with the matter. You do not need the national security to raid the house of Adenta Kumi, a harmless Adenta Kumi, that even you and I can just go to Adenta Kumi's house and arrest him.
I see. I'll come back to you. We'll deal with the statement itself in specific reference to Adenta Kumi. Franklin, welcome to the program. Civil society, how does this look? How is the optics like? Is it a matter of accountability, or you think this is eroding freedom to speak, freedom of expression? Hello, Franklin. You may want to unmute if you're there.
Sorry. Yes. So, well, look. The way I see it, I mean, I'm a bit surprised that we are still doing these things that we've all condemned in the past. I don't even understand why the person in this case cannot just be invited and be asked to make a statement to the effect of the charges. Why should it take a raid? Why should it take armed men to go and physically raid a man's house and then just take him away and probably detain him for hours on end? I don't understand. For simply making a false publication, I am at my wit's end. I am at my wit's end, and it's quite worrying. I felt that I don't know who's actually pressing certain political buttons, but I feel this thing is mindless. It's mindless, and I don't think this act should go in the name of the president at all. In this case, as I understand, the charges relate to certain things he said in the petition, and then certain things he must have said on radio. Please. I think the NIB is made up of thinking beings, and I know very well that they wouldn't wish these kinds of things on themselves. So please, can they just change I don't know. Do you have to show these level of machoism to show that you have arrived in your position? I frankly, I don't understand it at all. I really don't understand it. Which was why yesterday I was quite worried. I said, well, why? What is this? These things, we just need to stop it. We have to stop it. I'm happy the gentleman is out, but I sincerely think that we should be very, very careful the way we handle this. A simple invitation would have done the trick. And then otherwise, you see, you motivate agent provocateurs, people who are willing to take advantage of certain situations and just go and misbehave. I think I saw, was it the General Secretary must have put up a post saying that people should rush to the presidential. You only lend credence to some of these acts that are also not that are counterproductive. So I'm hopeful that this will be the last of its kind.
I see, but will it matter? We don't know yet whether he was invited or not. Maybe Nipapo will help us with that. But would it matter if he was invited and he refused to honor the invitation? Would it have mattered in the manner he was arrested?
Well, I suspect there are steps towards, even if you refuse an invitation to the police, there are steps they normally would take. I don't think they will just go immediately and start harassing you. Until you are probably declared some sort of a fugitive. I don't understand why they've not told us any of those, but have they also told us why they had to go in and raid? I think all we've heard is through the lawyer that they are trying to charge him based on. We never heard the issue of he resisting arrest at all, and so I don't see where that comes in here at all. I really don't understand it. So anyway, I suspect. That's why the NIB decided that the gentleman should go. Otherwise, I'm sure they were going to keep him there till Monday, and I don't think these things are wise at all.
I see. Let me speak to somebody who perhaps has answers. Nipapo, member of the NDC legal communication team, private legal practitioner. Welcome to the program.
Good morning.
What's happening? I mean, like Andrew just said, I mean, this is a misdemeanor, publication of false news. Why should it warrant officials of national security wielding weapons, etc., going to the house of a civilian, Adenta Kumi, to arrest him? I mean, what's happening?
Well, good morning to your listeners. Good morning to the wonderful people of Ghana. It's nice and a pleasure to be back home.
It's a pleasure.
I miss Franklin myself because we used to be here every Saturday.
Yes.
And then the late makes me have fond memories of the late.
And the bullfruits.
And the bullfruits and the cocoa. There's a famous picture of myself and Franklin challenging each other to get the pot's belly down.
yes, that's true. Yeah. I don't know who is winning that. Franklin, I don't know who is winning that. I don't know whether you have given up or Nipapo has given up.
Nipapo has given up.
Anyway, I always think that we have, since we decided to embark on this 1992 experiment, told ourselves that we'll be governed by laws, conventions, customs, among others. So when you hear some of these issues come up, as you said, you take a look back and say whether it is anything novel or whether we are doing something that has never been done before. If it's something that has never been done before, then I think that if everybody takes umbrage or if anybody begins to complain, we would have a legitimate basis to complain. But since the advent of this 1992 Constitution, at least I've had the privilege of being alive by God's grace to have witnessed the birth of the Constitution. I've lived through the Rawlings era. When President Rawlings was sworn in as president and left office in 2001, President Rawlings himself was invited under Kufuor's regime by the BNI. Is that not correct? President Rawlings' house at Ridge, one day Victor Smith had to open the gates and invite the police to come inside when they had surrounded the house and wanted to conduct a raid in the house. Is that not? Didn't it happen in this country? It happened here. Invitations by the police and clearly identified members of the national security system are permissible under the law. You and I know that there are arrests with warrants, there are arrests even without warrants, and the circumstances that go. I was here and had a whole education series on it when joined the former Bank of Governors residence was Addis's residence was raided. It was raided with a warrant. So the question is, when you look at the videos, I didn't see anyone who was not clearly identified in clearly marked attire and who had identified themselves as national security persons. In fact, if you listen to the voice recordings, they said they were even with the body cams and everything that was going on was being recorded. In the said video, you heard the gentleman identify himself, say that they are not there to cause any problems, they are inviting him. Then there was the voice of a woman in the same tape saying that, where are you taking him? And they responded, we are taking him to the BNI office at immigration. You can sit in your car and drive and follow. You heard all of that in the video. So wherein lies the problem? Is it that you cannot, the national security apparatus cannot conduct raids? Is it that they cannot invite people? Is it that they cannot arrest? Because even when we were out of power, I have represented NDC ministers who have been invited, Ioko and what have you. We do that as lawyers. We go with them. We are there, your client has been arrested. You go to the police station and you go and assist them. They even go and pick them up before they even tell you that you have a right to an attorney and all. So invitations and arrests are the norm. Where you don't agree or you feel your right has been violated, what do? You go to court. Let me give you an example. Former minister, I think the chief justice minister, please remind me. No. The other one. Asamoah Boateng. He actually won a landmark case which said that when you are in the custody of the BNI, you know, he and his wife were picked on an air flight and brought down. And then they sued the BNI officers who had done that. And the court ruled that you have a right to access to your lawyers, among others. So where you feel that your invitation or your arrest violates your rights, what do? You go to court. There are disciplinary measures even within the act for the police officers and the national security officers who misconduct themselves in the course of the line of their duties. So I'm yet to see exactly where there has been an unprecedented event. That's my first point. That something that is being done by the security agencies now that has never been done before. But
in the specific case of Adenta Kumi, this is a misdemeanor. Should it take national security, or the police could simply have invited him and he would perhaps attend?
The point is, are we going to sit and micromanage how the national security apparatus does their work? That's the first question.
But is this a misdemeanor? Is it a matter?
The point is,
isn't it a matter the police could have easily handled?
They've invited him, they charged him. My point is, was his rights as a citizen violated in the course of the arrest? That's the first question. You and I are lawyers. From what you see, was he manhandled? Was he even handcuffed? You understand? He was even given access to his lawyer on that. I heard his lawyer speak and said that the only problem he had, that was his own word, the lawyer had, was that he was in shorts and sandals. As a married man, he felt that coming out of your house, you should be more properly attired than that. His lawyer spoke on air and said that beyond the fact that he found him wearing shorts and sandals not to be appropriate, he was fine. He had been given access to his lawyer. He had written a statement. And at the very day, he was released to go home. So I'm yet to find where somebody is able to point out to me something that has happened that is unconstitutional, in violation of his rights, and that has never happened before. Because we have been in this country where ministers, what's his name? Dr. Tony Edu, among others, were picked up at various places. So sometimes when I hear the MPP and their spokesperson talk, I ask myself, why? Why are we not in this country?
No, but if we criticize it was wrong,
hold on.
Should we continue?
Hold on. So you see, the person who is complaining must hold me to a higher standard than he when he was in power. That's my point. If you, when you were in power, cannot tell me that you did things that I'm doing that are out of the ordinary, they are wrong, then when you tell me that, oh, what I'm doing is wrong, I can take it with maybe if movement for change tells me that, oh, government, maybe next time let's have a protocol, let's draft a law, and let's have specifics as to how these things can be conducted. I'll take it, but not when MPP coming to tell me that arresting people or inviting people and it's 5 policemen. What have we done in this country? You see, that is where you get people agitated when you hear it is from the MPP. You understand? If it's from anybody else, I can take it. You understand? But when it comes from the MPP, we have been in there. We as lawyers have had to go to with our clients. You go, you sit there. You can go and sit there from morning till 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. Then they'll tell you that the person is not there. I have represented people. My brother Eduji has done same. Or you ask any of the lawyers, they'll tell you. So when you are arrested, you are escorted to the police station. BNI within 1 hour you were given access to lawyer. BNI, where we've had members of NDC go and sit there and they won't have access to the lawyer. They won't even tell you where you are. We had situations where we had to go round from police headquarters. You go to police headquarters, they'll tell you the person is not there. Then you move to this place. We've had demonstrations. NDC members have been injured just holding vigil outside the police headquarters in support of our people that had been put in, had been held by the police. Journalists had their eyes, destroyed, injured, your colleagues, Joy FM and others, for going to cover NDC people outside who were protesting.
Because all of those we thought were not good.
When they were protesting over there, didn't see anybody harass them.
We moved the MPP out of power because we expected something better.
I understand you. See, when you come in and you tell me that you expect a higher standard, I understand. I'll tell you that, okay, what you saw, that's my first question. What you saw, the person policeman went to his house. If there was damage to property in the course of the arrest, I'm yet to see. Have you seen any damage to property in the person's house? Maybe you saw a door broken. Then I can say that.
But couldn't we have just invited the gentleman?
No, but you see, the point is
phone call. Let's invite him. If he doesn't come, then we know what to do.
Okay, so you see, you can say phone call, but the point is they went to arrest him. Is there something wrong in the manner in which they arrested him? That's my first question.
Because it creates. I won't use the word fear and panic.
Hold on. So they arrested him. Mm-hmm. You didn't see them manhandling him. He himself has not come out to say that he was manhandled. When he got to the BNI, how many hours did it take for him to get access to his lawyer? His lawyer went in, came back, granted interview live, said that my client is fine. The only thing wrong is that he was in shorts and this thing. His statement was taken. He was granted bail the same day. Tell you, if you are a lawyer, ask the lawyers how many hours it takes sometimes to get, call Samson Ladi, call any of those Martin Pebu, call those who have been practicing in BNI when MPP was in power, and ask them how many hours it takes for you to get access to your client at the BNI. Come on, at least give us credit where credit is due. You have been given due process. The point is, if I say this, if there was damage to maybe his property in his house or something, give us the evidence of that. That one can be taken up. But you cannot tell me that when you have been given access to your lawyer, you were taken to custody, nothing happened to you, you were given bail, you have written your statement, nobody is doing anything to you. You want to tell us that we are not being democratic? Hey, we've seen things in this country before.
How about one to me? Why did the BNI or the National Security guys go to his house?
You heard his own lawyer on air. His lawyer was on air at the premises of this thing. Then there were other spokespersons who said he had been invited, and I told them that he was going to come on the Monday and that he was not available. Now, when the police invite you and you say you want to come at a particular time, they have a discretion to accept your counter proposal or not accept your counter proposal. They are not bound. The police say, I want to see you. You say you are doing something elsewhere, so you are not available. You are available on Haradi. And then their superiors have given their officers a command to bring you. You say that one is also what? Unheard of, that he cannot be arrested. Why? Do we have golden or sacred cows in this country who are above the law, who cannot be invited? Let's be real. The point is this.
Do you know why they invited
It's
him?
when you get there, then you will know. At least you yourself know that there are some allegations. What is his name? Martin and the NGOs have, some of them have filed a formal complaint with the police in respect of Akota mining and others.
Even the former minister,
Yes, you understand. Others, there are other issues that they have brought in. So clearly, if you are being invited, he will be told when he gets there. My point is, have the security agencies done anything contrary to law that we haven't seen in this country before? If we haven't seen some in this country before, then fine. But when we have seen Gani, Philly, that NDC officials, former officials who were in government, have been invited, their houses have been raided, they were invited, and nobody split a hair. Hey, please.
I see.
Don't hold us to a standard beyond which you yourself were not held.
Great. Andrew, I mean, I don't know what you have to say about this, but now let's look at the statements of Adenta Kumi. You initially described them as reckless. We have the footage of the interaction in the restaurant. If we can put that on the screen, where the said justices and lawyer Sorry met at the restaurant and the nature of the interaction. Let's see that. So these are the persons walking into the restaurant, and they make their way to their sitting positions. We can see them there. And so, yes, so they are making their way to their sitting positions. And so there were two people already seated. And so one of the judges recognized lawyer Sorry, embraced him, and went ahead to sit down. So we see lawyer Sorry, upon being told that one of the other justices is there, went there to greet and bow, and then exchange pleasantries. As we can see, shaking hands there, and then stood there, had a chit chat, and made his way, appears to be making his way back to his sitting position where he was seated before the justices walked in. So at least this is what we have. This is what we have of the interaction. The allegation by Adenta Kumi is that they discussed the meeting. Indeed, that was the day we were told the meeting of the committee removing the Chief Justice began its work. So the allegation was that they discussed the matters, and indeed, in the statement and the petition, he said that people sitting around the restaurant or sitting there overheard them discussing the specific matter of the removal of the Chief Justice. You know, so that's the video we have there. We don't know if there's another video. If there's another video, we'll be happy to look at it. But that's the interaction we've seen there. So, Andrew, I mean, this is what we have, and this is the comment, the allegation by the young man, for which reason he's being charged for publishing false information.
Yeah, so I think I need to state before I go there that we need to understand that the national security per se do not have unended powers. They themselves are governed under the law. I think the law that governs them is the Security and Intelligence Agencies Act, and probably we will need to interrogate that act to understand their powers, because I said there's an array activities. As much as I believe that the statement of Adenta Kumi is really reckless, I do not think the national security needed to effect this arrest. As in we have the.
But national security can arrest. They have the powers of arrest.
Under specific circumstances under the law. So probably I wish we can put the law there and we'll understand their powers, so that we do not create a situation where politicians will weaponize the national security as a means of going after their political opponents. Then people did that, and see, that's why my learned friend is saying they do not simply have the credibility to complain, and that does not justify this abuse of your powers. Having said that, Adenta Kumi, I know him very well. I don't like talking about people. I don't like talking about people. But he needs to be careful. Also, his statements were really, really reckless, and I think he's being used by the MPP.
You know that for a fact?
And I said, I think. I think he's being used by the MPP. Because see, if you just oppose what he said against the suit the Chief Justice has made, and the claim she is making, one of the key issues there is the asking two of the justices to be removed.
To remove this.
Yeah, I'm presuming that it is on the basis that she thinks that they'll be biased or the real. I do not know, but it's not strange that around the same time when Adenta Kumi makes these allegations, this suit goes and is asking that two of the justices be removed from the committee.
But on different grounds.
No, but the point is like the MPP. I think are struggling to discredit this committee. Because for me, for a simple case of we trying to enforce the principles of accountability, which is one of the abiding principles that underpins our constitution. That's not one. You started by saying that this noble principle being applied here really is an attack on the judiciary, which I think I said this year some time ago. I find it very laughable. Because the people of Ghana, when we took upon ourselves this 1992 constitution, thought that it needed to be one of the principles that needs to underpin it is the principle of accountability. And for me, this petition to remove the CJ represents this noble principle. But the MPP has managed to make this process very political, and I find it very strange because of the manner in which they've politicized this thing. For me, it is strange that around the same week when Adenta Kumi makes these reckless allegations, the CJ will make a petition, and then within that petition, there's a claim against two of the justices. Is this not a case of the MPP trying very hard to discredit the entire committee? And they are using Adenta Kumi.
But the CJ suit, the grounds upon which he wants the two justices to recuse themselves are very different from the Adenta Kumi case.
So exactly, but what I'm saying is that they are trying to cause some form of public
disaffection. Yeah,
and then so because how many people will have time to go into the suit? You understand? So politically, when you get someone like Adenta Kumi to go and make these reckless allegations, and unfortunately, when you see the video, when you watch the video, we all know, as in law school, some of your mates are judges. I'm sure some of your mates are judges already. Some of my mates are judges, high court judges already. So when you meet them in town, are you going to pass by because they are judges or not? So for you to make this serious allegation, that impugns on the integrity of this process and the judges themselves. Yes, on radio and TV. Now, for me, what agenda are you pursuing? It's like a sinking man. This is akin to a sinking man clutching at a straw. And I'm saying that, for me, I do not take it for granted that within the same week when these allegations come, this suit goes. Yeah, you understand? And within the suit, she's asking that two of the judges be the only judges on the committee be removed. It is necessary that our politicians understand that, listen, the reason why you're doing politics is for the national interest, not for a parochial interest. The MPP has become too parochial in nature. It's like they do not care for the country anymore. Not last week I said that the manner in which they organized the demonstration against the
removal of the CJ.
See, nobody would have argued if they demonstrated when Charles says process began. We need to do politics that reflects our value for principle. And that's why some of us believe that what is on trial right now is principle in our politics. You cannot hold a position A today and tomorrow you hold a position B. And so because of that, some of us think that the motivation that is fueling Adenta Kumi is the same motivation that has led to the filing of this suit. It's linked. You cannot decouple them. Because unfortunately, you see, when you look at the optics, the lawyer representing the CJ or the MPP have done, it lays credence to a belief that the CJ was in bed with.
We'll deal with that. We'll deal with that in the second.
No, I want to make an argument, and so because of that, as much as I agree with your view that the content of the suit, and the reasons why she wants is different from what Adita Kwame is saying, but you can make an argument that they are interlinked, especially also because of the timing. That around the time when Adita Kwame made these reckless allegations, the CJ will make this suit asking for the removal of two of the justices. It's reckless and it must be condemned. I think the young people doing politics must do a politics that reflects their love for the country, not their parochial agenda. The NPP has become too parochial in nature.
Great. Let me speak to Vincent. Vincent is a young person also doing politics. I think he's one of the youngest MPs.
Altar boy.
Is that?
He's also an altar boy.
Altar boy. Which means what?
He serves mass.
Oh, he serves mass.
Yes,
I didn't know that, Vincent. I didn't know you were. They call them mass servants.
Yeah, mass servants.
I didn't know that. So you still do that?
Yes, he does.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, you still do that? Great.
He's a good boy.
So now let's look at the comments of Adenta Kumi. I mean, this is the video we have seen. We don't know if there is another video that says something else. For now, this is all we have, and nobody has controverted it yet. So this is what we go with. If another one comes, we'll be happy to look at it. Just opposing what is in the video and what Adenta Kumi said, would you say that Adenta Kumi was responsible in his commentary on the matter? Forget about even the petition, but he granted interviews several times based on the petition, the content of the petition, which relates to the said meeting at the hotel, the video we just showed you.
Right, but before that, just give me a minute. Let me respond to one or two things. So, number one, Adenta Kumi was never invited. Adenta Kumi spoke to me around 4 p.m. a day before that he was arrested, that he's got a hint that the national security want to come and pick him from an inside source. So he was never invited, because that was the first question that I asked him. Have you been invited? Because if you had been invited, then as a lawyer, or you could have just found another lawyer to probably accompany you, then you go. But he stated categorically that there has not been any invitation whatsoever to him. So let's put that on the record.
Yeah, but also the invitation, so that's like a phone invitation or something. But invitation could be in person. I could come to your house and invite you, right? So let's assume that what happened there was the number of the physical invitation.
With this number of national security men, okay, with Wilden AK-47, it was needless. Please let us agree to that. Let's agree that is needless. At least to the caliber of Adenta Kumi, you don't need that Rambo style to be able to arrest him. And see, my senior brother Nee was saying something. He sought to, as it were, establish a threshold, or if you like, a legal test as to whether or not, because there was no damage of a property, for that matter, what happened in Adenta Kumi's house is normal. No, the standard is low. That cannot be the standard, that because there was no damage of a property. I say this because fear and panic alone, and I cited to you that even this morning, before we started this show, I am hearing that the wife of Adenta Kumi has had a miscarriage. So it is not about the damage of a property. And if you want to use that as a test alone, that is respectfully low. It cannot be the case.
But let's look at the other parts. Okay, so he was invited. We knew where he was taken to. That's one. Number two, there's been no concern from his legal people or himself that he did not have access to his lawyer. That's two. Number three, based on when he was picked and when he was released, we cannot say that he was unreasonably held for a long time. These are also tests we can use to determine whether the process was
that is the aftermath of you causing the Rambo style. The aftermath of the mother of the aftermath of the mother of Adenta.
Let him make a quick intervention and you will come back.
My starting point was whether the persons who went to his house were properly identifiable, and whether they identified themselves to him.
No, but his point is that the style, the way they went into the house.
Issue of the number of people that were
wielding guns.
They were armed. If they are armed, and see, the point is, armed men entering your house and inviting you over to the police station. I can understand if it can create some concern because of the fact that you have children, you have a parent. So those ones, and I'm also very sympathetic if the report that he has lost a child is true. All of us are parents. That would be very unfortunate if that is the direct result of what happened. That clearly would be very unfortunate. And so we need to investigate that issue further. But what I'm saying is this. In his regime, you understand, this is not the first time that...
But you see...
he cannot hold somebody to a standard higher than what he himself has set. That is ridiculous. You have a standard that you set when you were in power. Then when somebody comes and does the same thing, you now come and say that, oh, this standard that I used when I was in power is a bad standard. I'm now realizing that it's a bad standard. It's a bad standard for 8 armed policemen to go to somebody's house. But when it was Ayajinapo, when it was Kwabran Donko, when it was those others, it was fine. Let's be realistic about the levels that we set.
Let him respond to it. So,
boss.
So Vincent, yes, you have the floor.
So, Sinani, maybe you are underestimating the kind of power that the Ghanaian people have given to you. The Ghanaian people were not happy with the governance. Listen.
No, we're not happy with the governance of the MP.
That's what it's good I'm hearing it from him.
No, but the result shows.
No. I'm happy for the first time I'm hearing it from some that.
Listen to me.
That
what
they did was wrong.
Let him make his point.
It's a very powerful point. I want you to note it down.
Vincent, make your point.
Today I'm happy. Vincent,
you're disrupting him. Yes. So no, I'm protecting you. I'm protecting you. No, I'm protecting you.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
So needs be reined in.
I'm sorry.
Vincent, you are protected. Go ahead.
The results of the December elections. That is enough evidence to show that the Ghanaian people had some misgivings about the governance style of the New Patriotic Party. Now, they boot out the New Patriotic Party and repose confidence in you, NDC. And you are telling us that the confidence or the social contract that you've signed with the people is for you to equate what the MPP did, which the Ghanaian people, based on the December elections, are saying that they were not happy with. No, that should not be the threshold. And the fact that something was wrong in 2017, 2018, doesn't mean that it should be repeated today because it is coming from the MPP. That kind of politics, I'm saying that it's not, because if you listen to me very well, I built up the point from even when we were having the elections, the 7 December elections. That was when we saw that the NDC were in for this kind of game, because I have no reason not to believe that the same men that we were seeing going about this kind of style are the same people that have been transitioned into the national security. I mean, so it won't be a good way for us to, as it were, build our country. I mean, it's a worrying situation, it's troubling, it's unnecessary, it puts Ghana in a very bad light that a simple petition will generate this. Let me get to as to whether the petition that was sent to the president by Adenta Kumi is enough justification for him to be even arrested this way. See, you remember when the petition was sent and Adenta Kumi also made some comment to the effect that these judges that had been mentioned in the petition were seen with Tade Osori. The first comment that came from Tade Osori was that it is what? A monstrous lie. Creating an impression that there wasn't even a meeting or they had not even met before.
No, he said the monstrous lie. Tade Osori is not. So we need to.
Don't interpret. Let's read what he wrote.
No, the monstrous. He said the substance of it was not the meeting necessarily. It was
your interpretation.
No. It's in the petition. It's in the content of the meeting. Is the? He said no. I have the petition before me. It says, and people over. Let me quote one paragraph, a portion of one paragraph. Excited the curiosity of some persons in the restaurant. Indeed, they were overheard discussing matters relating to the petition. That is what the monstrous lie, with all due respect, is in relation to. People meet at places.
Please, no, let me explain. I'm saying.
But you are interpreting.
There should be a threshold to trigger the interest of His Excellency the President to even decide to go into the allegations that have been made by Adenta Kumi. The prima facie, to my estimation, should be that at least was there a meeting of a sort.
But Vincent, again, then I mean, to use your own words, then that will be very low, because you know, in the case of Salave's Attorney General, General, in the very nature of our social, engagements and settings, people know people. I've just heard on this table that you are a mass servant. Assuming I was Catholic, I'm not. Assuming I was Catholic, my view about you will start changing. In fact, my view has even changed, because you're a mass servant. You do this, you do that, you do all of that. That is great. I meet you somewhere, we have a quick, chit chat, and that means that I've compromised you or you have compromised me. The very nature of our social engagements, reference the Salave's Attorney General's case, should guide how we make comments when these matters come up. I go to church with you. I've attended school with you. Would that be enough to influence you? They were in a restaurant, as we have just seen in the video.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I'm saying that if that becomes the basis for the prima facie, then that will be very low. And then there will be prima facie raised against everybody and everything.
What is prima facie? The prima facie is to establish that indeed there's a case to answer. Okay? Why don't you give an opportunity to Adenta Kumi to provide further and better particulars in helping you to establish that prima facie, whether indeed what he is alleging in the petition is something to go by? That has not been done at all. And so I am saying that initially...
No, but wait, let's clarify this. Vincent, let's clarify this. The president, let's clear that. We have not heard officially from the president. The report we are hearing is that the arrest...
The national security was for the government.
The arrest, we understand, was based on commentary he made on social media and on media interviews. That takes it entirely out of the petition. Of course, the interview was based on the petition, but the person who was petitioned is yet to respond to the petition. And maybe even out of respect, if you petition somebody, I mean, I'll leave that out. But the person hasn't responded, but he went on radio and social media to discuss the content of the petition. It may be a matter of style or strategy, I do not know. But the person hasn't responded yet. But national security is saying that he was picked based on the comments that have come from him. And they feel that it's false. And so that's why they picked him up. So I think we need to separate the issues.
You have put an interpretation to what Thaddeus Osori said. And I'm saying that when Thaddeus Osori mentioned that it was a monstrous lie, before you and I having the privilege to see the video, the monstrous lie to any bystander, well-meaning Ghanaian, will think that there wasn't a meeting at all. That is the point I'm trying to make. So I am saying...
But that's an interpretation, is it not?
Yeah, that is my interpretation.
But I cannot interpret. No, from what you are saying, I shouldn't interpret, but you can put an interpretation to it.
Because Thaddeus Osori didn't let us know. It was just blanket. He made mention of the fact that it is a monstrous lie. And anybody who will see the statement of Thaddeus Osori will feel that there wasn't any meeting at all. They haven't even met. It is not even possible that they will meet. Until the video came, that laid credence, some amount of credence to the allegations that was made by Adenta Kumi. And so that's what I'm saying, that it seems to me that the threshold of establishing a prima facie as to whether we will even go into the investigation of the allegations that have been made by Adenta Kumi is very key. And so, in my estimation, Adenta Kumi should have been given a good opportunity, okay, which I think that we are still within time, but should have been given a good opportunity considering the public interest of the matter. A committee that has been set up by the President of the Republic of Ghana to be able to investigate, or if you like, embark on an inquiry in the removal of no mean person than the Chief Justice. is something that is very critical to the extent that the president ought to have shown optimum and, if you like, instant interest in the allegation that was made by Adenta Kumi, to have opened the gate for Adenta Kumi to quickly substantiate. Because if such allegations have been made against that committee, it means that whatever is going to happen on that committee, if the threshold in the Salah versus AG is met, or if the threshold of whether or not it is important, or whether or not Adenta Kumi is able to substantiate the allegations that has been made, then please, we have to give opportunity for that to happen. So I am saying that to substantiate the allegations that has been made, then please, we have to give. So I am saying Adenta Kumi video. In the video, it is possible that it is not the full video that we have seen. You and I cannot even be sure. We cannot be sure. But just upon seeing this video, you will give yourself room to, as it were, bring to proper conclusion whether or not the allegations that have been made by Adenta Kumi has any substance or otherwise. And so that's the point I'm trying to make.
I see. But you're not a judge, but seeing the petition and the comments from Adenta Kumi and seeing the video, what probative value will you place on this video vis-a-vis the allegations?
Until we are able to find out what he is standing on in terms of evidence, you cannot rubbish it simplistically. You cannot, because you see, the test is for the one who is alleged to be able to prove. And so that's why I'm saying that this is a matter of public interest. We are experiencing a committee that has been established by the President of the Republic of Ghana, an executive arm of government, okay, triggering a process to remove a leader of another arm of government. In such instances, it is of public interest. It is so important that as soon as such allegations were made, within a day or two, Adenta Kumi should have been given an opportunity to be able to provide further and better particulars, so that we do not allow, as it were, the fact that a committee has been set up and that committee has a constitutional backing. Let it go on. Anytime that Adenta Kumi will be invited, then he is invited to do so. And that is why I have a lot of problem even with the ruling that was given by the Supreme Court as far as my application was concerned. But I think that we'll get there to even discuss that. But I am saying that Adenta Kumi probably knows something that we don't know. If you look at the video alone, I don't think that it is enough. Okay, it is enough to meet the threshold as to whether indeed they met or not. I don't think so. Maybe he has something that we don't know. But if he is not given the opportunity, we will not know.
I see. Franklin, what do you think? You've seen the video. We don't know if there is more, but this is what we have now, so this is what we work with. See the video, see the content of the allegation. You think that he was responsible in the manner he spoke on this very sensitive matter?
Well, first of all, I think that people should be given the opportunity to explain themselves. It's very important. I mean, if they make very solid commentary, as probably this one is, I think it is important to hear them. But before you hear them, you've got to treat them right. I mean, that's what it is. I'm surprised that we are still discussing the mode of arrest of persons. Why? And then if it had been what's the word I want to use? Well, in any case, look, if it were a hardened criminal, I don't know what would be done to him anyway. But this gentleman may have been very annoying, they have been very disrespectful, or whatever it is. We are in a civilized democracy. And I think that, well, apparently so. And I think that it's important that we do not wish or do things to our political opponents or people we do not probably see eye to eye with in a manner that we would never be happy if it were done to us. I think this principle is basic and must be understood. When Vincent, the Honorable Vincent, was like, well, because, I don't know whether because of MP, but he also petitioned. I mean, there were things people have said and done. I don't see why this gentleman should have been picked the way he was picked. The content of whatever he said, well, clearly we've seen that maybe it's not entirely true, but those are the things that you elicit from him once you begin talking to him in a very nice manner. And I think that's what we should be doing all the time. So as I say, once again, I do not think that the content of whatever someone says, well, that's why there's libel. That's why, that's why there's the opportunities to seek redress in court. I don't think we should add brute force to it at all. I mean, that's the fundamental principle we are dealing here. So I'm not going to determine the merits or otherwise of whatever he's put out. He should be responsible for it, and I think we need to get to the bottom of it, where he's accepting responsibility and whatever punishment there are. He willingly, goes. So we subscribe to those punishments. So that's what I've got to say on this matter.
Great. We'll take a quick break. When we return, we'll look at the matter of the CJ and her suit and all she's seeking to do as the process has been triggered for her removal. Indeed, she is on suspension and she has filed a suit challenging a few things, including seeking a disqualification of the two justices on the committee. This is the big issue on 97.3 City FM, on Channel 1 television, on YouTube as well. We'll be right back.
The Ghana Traditional Council, on behalf of the entire Ghana state, announces the annual ban on drumming and noise-making as part of the sacred rites leading to the Homo Festival.
Ghana mamu, timfe anale, adesin, imlae niko omadumo, ongmehe, wakusuni, wakabachuni,
The ban across the Ghana state will take effect from Monday, May 12th to Thursday, June 12th, 2025. However, Osu, La, Teshi, Nungwa, Tema, Boom, Pram Pram, and Ningo traditional areas will observe their bans separately, with dates to be announced by their various councils. During this period, all visitors are required to comply with the following regulations. Religious activities to be confined within premises without the use of external loudspeakers, no drumming, clapping, or use of musical instruments in public places, no roadside evangelism or street preaching with loudspeakers. There will be no funeral or burial ceremonies within this period up until the 20th of June 2025. This practice is not only a cultural tradition, but also protected under the 1992 Constitution of Ghana, ensuring the preservation of our customs and identity. A dedicated task force, in collaboration with the Regional Security Council, Metropolitan, Municipal and District Assemblies, as well as the Ghana Police Service, will strictly enforce compliance. We urge all residents, institutions and visitors to respect this sacred tradition as we uphold our cultural heritage and foster social harmony. Nyacha, New Manyaba.
Introducing Betway's Bet Influencer, a groundbreaking feature where you can make money by just sharing codes. He just needs to share his codes and make money. The more his codes are used, the more money he makes. Oh yes, so what are you waiting for? Anyone can be a bet influencer. Share your codes and make money. Bet Influencer, another world first from Betway.
This advert has been approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Betway, get way more.
All right, you're welcome back. This is The Big Issue on 97.3 City FM. We're on Channel 1 television, and we are on our affiliates and on YouTube. We're looking at the matter of the arrests or the raids on Adenta Kumi, Alfred Kumi Ababio, and Chairman Wuntumi, and trying to understand what happened and whether that's the way to go. A few other things. We just move into the matter of the Chief Justice's suit and the matters arising therefrom. But before that, the Honorable Roxanne Nelson Dafiamapo, the Majority Chief Whip, is called in to make a comment or two on the discussion. He's joined us now. Hello, good morning, sir. Welcome to The Big Issue.
Thank you very much. Let me be very quick because I'm on the road to the constituency. One, I heard my brother Asif make some in respect of the mood and arrest. It's well lawyers. So that within the remit of accepting, arrest is well defined. Arrest is in respect of the mood. The people who have the power to effect arrest are clearly stipulated. A policeman can arrest when you committed a crime, when you are turning from the crime scene, or you are conspiring to commit a crime, or you are about to commit a crime.
Honorable, yes, your line is a bit...
The mood hasn't been defined. That is why you can be invited to a police station, and then when you get to the police station, you can be detained. It's part of arrest. You can also be traced to your home and be arrested, especially when on the invitation, you send the invitation to attend to police inquiry. Now, he says that they brought guns. Every policeman going to demolish property, they carry guns. They carry guns to go and demolish a property, a private citizen's property. My property was demolished. It was a military man who brought guns and came to demolish my property. He was then the PRO for the GES, or the Ministry of Education. He was not in law school then, but he didn't find anything wrong with it because, like he said, principles must be principles. So for me, the prima facie determination that he complained about, there's no standard for determining prima facie determination. It is a discretion that is left in the hands of the prosecutor. And prosecutor in this case is in contest. So the person who is prosecuting the case is to determine whether or not a prima facie case has been established for purposes of prosecution in a court of law. So the person determines whether he has enough evidence within the remit of the charges that has been leveled against him so that he can conduct a successful arraignment in a court of law. It is different from the standard of proof in criminal cases. So you need to make that distinction. Prima facie determination is whether or not I can arrange this matter successfully. And whether or not I can prosecute successfully is also up to a different person. So, Vincent to speak with less emotion and let's talk more law. Because I'm listening to everyone on board and I think the discussions are going well.
Great.
What is wrong is wrong. What is wrong yesterday must be wrong today. And what was right yesterday must equally be right today.
So the manner he was arrested is wrong. If it happened yesterday, it would have been wrong. So today is wrong, right?
No. If the manner of arresting people yesterday, and I had that mean, even when they decided to come and demolish my property that was lawfully put up, but for some political reason they decided to come and demolish it, they brought a military convoy. Military men armed with guns and hooded. You couldn't even tell a Joe from a Harry. Holding guns, they demolished my building at dawn. And it was regular. Nothing happened. No arraignment. Even chasing them to determine who came to do that. I was told that some of the military men were not even known to the military. So it was regularly done. So I'm saying that as a suspect, when you resist arrest, the police are enjoining law, and he knows that within Act 30,
Yes,
the
but
police
in
are
this
enjoying
case,
law.
in this case, did he refuse arrest? I'm not sure he did.
Why? If policemen come to your house, even if they come to surround your house, as a reasonable person and as a lawyer, you ought to know that there's some force being applied for purposes of your freedom being restrained. So you ask, am I under arrest? If you say yes, you are under arrest, you follow them to wherever they want to take you.
And
But
also
if you
happened.
resist,
He didn't
if
resist.
You call, why? You go and check the social media post of the General Secretary, who is a lawyer of the NPP. They resisted arrest and they called in the masses of their party. That amounts to a resistance of arrest. When you are calling your party people, hold on, when you are calling your party people to turn the residence of the suspect who is supposed to have been arrested or was supposed to have been invited to a police station, you are calling in your masses to go and resist arrest, the arresting officers will interpret it so and applied appropriate force.
I see.
In order to empower you.
But Roxanne, I mean, you're in a position of power now, and we're trying to improve how these things are done. Would you say that this is the way it must be done moving forward? I mean, he's a private citizen. He wasn't armed as far as we know. He was just in his house. Couldn't the police have called him on the phone to invite him to assist in investigations? I mean, yes, there may be no way, there may be nothing wrong in law.
In fact, lawyer,
yes.
In fact, lawyer, you know that is one other way of doing it. And you also know that even in arraignment, you don't even need a suspect in order to arraign a suspect before a court of law. You can actually proceed to conduct your investigations, establish a prima facie determination, and file the charge sheet and have the charge sheet served on accused persons and ask them to appear in court on a certain date. It's one procedure that all of us as a state, all of us as operators and officers of the law have not encouraged the prosecutors of our republic to have recourse to. Because for me, I think that you can always bring a suspect to court as an accused person if you make a prima facie determination without even seeing his face. Once you have sufficient evidence and made a prima facie determination, you can file your charge sheet. A charge sheet is also to be filed the same way we file civil actions in a court of law. But we don't do that. We like the third leg, which is arrest, overpower a suspect, turn him into accused, detain him, take statements, caution, charge, prepare a charge sheet, however long it takes, go and get a judge and say all sorts of things and say that today we want him detained because he will be a fugitive of justice if he's released on bail, or he has the tenacity to interfere with police and federal police inquiries into the matter. Prosecutors do that all the time. We may not like it, but it's a protocol that is pervasive within prosecutorial institutions in this country. So that is a different discussion we can have. I have suffered it, and I'm sure I suffered it as a suspect, as an accused person, a suspect, and also as a defense attorney. When I broke some proposed traffic regulations, I suffered it. And I'm sure you as a lawyer must have suffered it as a defense attorney, and also perhaps on some previous occasions, even as a suspect yourself. So it's a system we can improve. But ASEFO cannot say that all of a sudden, what is systemic in respect of how criminal prosecutions are done is suddenly wrong, or was suddenly foisted or not by the Mahamatou regime.
Very well.
No.
Very well.
No,
thank you.
That I disagree with.
Very well. Thanks so much, the Honorable Majority Chief Whip, the Honorable Roxanne Nelson Dafiamapo. Thanks so much for your intervention. Vincent, do you have any quick response to that? Because your name came in quite heavily, and it was on the basis of a submission that he called in. Just a minute of it, then we move on.
So I won't belabor the point. I've already made my case. And I think that whatever I have said initially actually responds to whatever he has said. I mean, I won't belabor it. Except to add that when the prima facie ever be, as it were, be seen as a way that the person who made the allegation will be able to prosecute the case. But that's what he said. And that should not be the case. When we say prima facie, we are saying that the one who is making that determination, just at first sight.
Yeah, but it's discretionary, is it not?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, that just at first sight of what has been presented to you. So you, today, when I make an allegation against you, to cement that you've been disrespectful to me on this show, what evidence am I going to give to cement that right upon seeing at first sight, the first impression of the allegation that I've made against you, it will trigger cement to either deem it as frivolous or there's a case to answer? So it is a matter of whether or not there is a case to matter, not because the petitioner will have to be able to show that he can prosecute the matter to the end. No, that is not the test. The test is right after I see it, the person that the allegation has been made against, is he or she having a case to matter? That is the right determination.
But you see, you are going back into what we talked about. Let's separate the petition from the comments he is supposed to have made, or he is said to have made on social media and on radio or TV. All right, because the one he's petitioned has not responded to it yet. He may respond to it tomorrow, or even today, we do not know. So whether that person feels that there's a prima facie case to answer is a different matter. We don't have that. But the national security, we understand, called him or arrested him because, in their view, it was information that was falsely published. And that is where the matter ends, not the petition or the content of the petition as addressed to the president, because the president hasn't spoken on that yet. The national security came in because of his own comments on radio, social media, etc. I think we made that point clear right from the onset.
So now the Fiamapo is saying police is so much incapacitated to be able to deal with issues of a person publishing matters that, in their estimation, is harmful to society.
Great.
Is that what he's saying?
No, I'm not sure that's what he's saying. But let's move on, Vincent. Now let's move on to the CJ. A lot of these are connected to the CJ. Such a big matter. Now this week, the CJ, on the 21st of May 2025, invoked the original jurisdiction of the court, and she's seeking a number of things. She sued the Attorney General. She sued Justice Gabriel Scott Puaman, sued Justice Samuel Kwame Adibu Asiedu, sued Daniel Yal Domelevo, Major Flora Bazwanura Dalugo, and Professor James Sefa Jisa. The last five are members of the five-member committee that has been set up by the president in accord with the Constitution to probe the matters contained in the Constitution, in the petition to remove the CJ. The CJ has been suspended pending this process. We were told that the committee was to start work on the 15th or so. We don't know whether they've started. I think they have started. But the CJ now is having issue with two of them, Justice Puaman and Justice Samuel Kwame Adibu Asiedu. We'll deal with those. Of course, the matter is in court. We are not going to the merit of the matter, but we're just trying to educate the public and bring the matters to light so we all know where the matter stands now. I'll start off with you, Ni. Of course, a number of issues have come up from the particular suit. One, the CJ's choice of lawyer, but to the CJ herself going to court on this matter and all of that. Let's start from here. Is the CJ within her right to bring this suit before the court in the first place?
I said this morning elsewhere that this particular lawsuit gives me deja vu. Because in 2016, as a young practitioner, I had the privilege of representing a majority of the judges in the Anas case. And, you know, I said I'll write a book about that experience because at the time when the scandal broke out, the Bar Association meeting was going on in, I don't know the region. I rarely attend, but at that time, that whole weekend, myself and my team spent 3 continuous nights preparing to defend the judges in court. And the very arguments that in 2016 I had to fight on behalf of those judges who were Superior Court judges are the same, literally, not in terms of substance of the issue, but in terms of the principles that we fought for in 146 are the same things that are happening today. And some of the principles that I fought for in 2016 are what people have benefited from and what people are standing on to try and expand the frontiers of the law. Now, the key principle in Article 146 is grounded on 2 things, in my humble opinion. One is procedural fairness, you understand? And then the second one is fidelity to the substance of the allegations. That the allegations must be well grounded, not fictional, not things that are baseless and outrageous. So the Constitution and its framers have enshrined these 2 principles that underpin the procedure by which you can seek to remove some Superior Court judges. It is meant to protect the judges and to protect the system. It is in the implementation that you begin to have to now grind out the fine details. You understand? So when we in 2016, myself and my team were up, and it's like when you are dealing with those things, it is not a joke because you are coming up against the system. And back then, the senior judges the judges had gone to a few senior lawyers, and all of them had declined to represent them. So here I was, young lawyer, taking on such a huge enterprise. And your defendants are the Chief Justice at the time, and then the Attorney General. We probably issued over 80 writs in respect of that case. Wow. And we went all the way to the ECOWAS Court of Appeal. So, if there's somebody who has grind the Article 146 path, it's myself.
Yeah, you should be one of those.
Oh, yeah. I mean, apart from Samson who did one and one, I probably think that in terms of, and it was out of that we had a few decisions. But so that's the first major point I want to make, that Article 146 has in it procedural, and so if you look at the Article 146 itself, it talks about the fact that the judge cannot be removed except in accordance with the provisions of that particular Article 146. And so you, even the judge, have a duty to ensure that the procedure by which you are removed is in conformity with Article 146. Yeah. Now the thing here, however, is how have the courts interpreted Article 146 step by step? So the first major step is the issue of in-camera proceedings. Yeah. Now, if you remember in 2016, Anas had sought to show the evidence of his work, and which was the basis of his petition, to the world. Yeah. And Ajechum had touched on that briefly, that you are not allowed to show the content, the evidence of what it is. But the issue was, where does it start from? Does it start from when the committee set up at the 146 to look into the matter after the prima facie, or before the prima facie? So we went to court with the point that it should start from the time you hand in the petition and until the petition is over. Because if you read Ajechum, you read Peter Derry and all the other cases, what has been at stake is the fact that the allegations may turn out to be false. Yeah. And if the allegations have turned out to be false, you need to protect the individual judge and the institution of justice from public ridicule and perceived public confidence. Because remember, justice must be seen to be done and must be actually done. The word sometimes qualified manifestly seen to be. So the perception of justice and actual justice are very important. At the same time, the courts had to balance whether in the Derry case, whether you, even the mere fact that the thing has been shown should disqualify the committee from looking into the merits. So that you also don't create a situation where somebody will mischievously show, or let's say I am the subject of an impeachment proceeding, and then I leak it. And then when I leak it, then it means that the whole procedure becomes void because the thing has been leaked. So in the Derry case, they talked about the Caesar's wife. That Caesar's wife must be seen to be above reproach. And then they went deeper and said that, look, once it is an allegation of misconduct against the judge, because of the unique position of the judge and the powers that are invested in the judge and the fact that power emanates from the people must have confidence that those who administer justice administer it with the utmost integrity. So they will not allow, and if you look at the cases, they have always been insistent that they will not allow a technicality to not allow for the investigation into the petition.
Yeah.
So no matter how you framed your technical, because we went in with a technical punch first in that particular case. We wanted to invalidate the petition on the ground that he had gone to show it at the national because we felt that undermined public confidence because it is trial by the public. I was very strong about it. I remember the day we went to court, and strangely, interestingly, it is the suspended chief justice who was the sitting high court judge, sitting high court judge in all the Derry cases. So she was yes. That's why I said it's a lot of coincidence. So she sat in the case when we first went before the court. In fact, all the cases were assigned to her. When we first went to the court to move our injunction application to prevent Anas from sitting from showing the video at the conference center. But we were not getting him to serve. So when we went, we did a substituted service, and she insisted that either we move the substantive motion or we had to withdraw it. So we decided to withdraw it. That allowed the video to be shown at the conference center. When it was shown, that day my team and I were down. In fact, that weekend, my clients felt everything was over. They felt, what's the point there? Why do you? And I said no. I was resolved that if they showed it the first time, we'll prevent it from being shown again. And that it actually even grounded my case in the Supreme Court. That having shown it, then it invalidated the whole process. You understand? We won the part that said that when you even mention the names of the judges at the start of the Judicial Service Secretary issued a notice to the public that these people were under investigation. We said even disclosing their names was in breach of the in-camera right of the judges. Yeah. And that was held. So that's where the Chief Justice was found to have acted unconstitutionally by releasing the names. Yeah. You understand? But the court said it will not invalidate the petition. Because the allegations must be investigated. We even came back again on a technical ground that Tiger Eye was not a registered company. In another case, we did 3 significant Supreme Court cases in respect of Article 146. We've done it all. We've litigated everything under the Article 146. Wow. The court said once an identifiable individual had sent the petition was still valid. So it was in the Derry one that the court said that, look, once the process is triggered, it cannot be injuncted. In fact, to injunct it will be to be in violation of the Constitution. The words of the judges were very strong. That if you attempt to even injunct the process, because we even had injunctive reliefs in our Supreme Court case. That's why in the recent one, they have been consistently dismissing all the injunction applications. Because they say that once the process is triggered, the only way you can bring it to an end is if it comes to a conclusion. So the Supreme Court has been very clear that the allegations must be investigated. The one unique thing I have come to find in this new writ that has been brought is whether the person who is the subject matter of the investigation is exercising a personal right to have the proceedings aired in public. So there's a debate. The interpretation as it stands now from the Supreme Court is in camera is in camera. And they've given very sound reasons why it's from the beginning to the end. But here is also the flip of it, that if I am the subject matter, because it's supposed to protect both the subject matter person and the subject matter of the petition. If I elect to
and
want
even the
to,
institution.
And the institution, if I want it to be made public, is it me exercising a personal right as against the constitutional provision that says no? So that's something that perhaps the court may want to look at. But as it stands now, there can be no way that any portion of the process can be made public. It's been adjudicated and dusted. And in fact, if you try to injunct the process, according to the Supreme Court in Derry, you are seeking to subvert the Constitution. That's actually the words. There were very strong words that were used in that case. So I believe at the heart of this whole process is procedural fairness and substantive fairness. I am of the humble opinion that anyone that wants to litigate any aspect of the provisions must be allowed. You understand? But at the moment, has the process been harmed in any way, shape, or form by the conduct of the government? I say no. Because clearly, the government has not prevented anybody from going to court. We, in 2016, went all the way to the ECOWAS court. As I told you, we found probably over 80 cases. We tested everything under the sun in respect of Article 146. Everything you can think about. All the arguments that have been done, I sometimes look at them and I smile. Because I have the whole stack in my office. Everything that is being litigated, but there are new portions of it that have come up. And the point also is that once there's no impediment in the way of any of the parties in the process from going to court, it doesn't also stop the committee from working. Because in our time, whilst we were in court, the committee was also working. We sought to injunct the committee. We did injunction. The newspaper clips, we injuncted the members of the committee. We sued all the members. We sued. Everything that is being done today is not over. But the number one, nobody should stop the petitioner from exercising their rights to the access to the court. Nobody should impede. Yes.
They make the argument, they want a 281 argument, that the commission also to read committee, in the interest of public morality, public safety, or public order, the proceedings of a commission of inquiry shall be held in public.
We even talked about we said that videotaping the person was an invasion of the right. We've done all the arguments. So for me, what is important is give the petitioner access to court. Let the petitioner have all the opportunities to make the argument. Even in Ghana and maybe ECOWAS and the African Human Rights Court, allow the process to go on. And also allow the commission to work.
Not the petitioner, the subject.
The subject to even the committee to also work. At the end of the day, once the procedure is fair and there's no subtle, either imaginary or actual, to suppress the person's rights and everything is because you want to have the thing in public. The Constitution says no. You've gone to court. The Supreme Court is not bound by its previous decision. It can even depart. What is important is at any given time is the CJ being given her opportunity to be in court? Does she have access to counsel of her choice? Is the government preventing her from being able to file any process in court? Does she have access to her lawyers? Is she being given notice of all the proceedings that are going on? Once the procedure is fair and the substance is fair, we had impediments in 2016. We had to fight even to have access to copies of the original petition. We were never given access to the original petition. Today, people are crying for the copies of. In 2016, we never had copies of the petition. So some of the fights I put up in 2016 people are benefiting from those today.
I see. Andrew, I mean, interesting. So, the privacy, the issue about privacy, you are investigating me. The law says make it private. I am saying that given that the petition is out by whatever means and my response is out by whatever means, I mean, people have had their day on me. It's now my turn to tell my story. Why do you want to make it public? For my sake. Perhaps the in-camera nature of it is to protect me. I'm waiving that right. I want the public to see it. Whether you humiliate me by your questions or whatever, I don't mind. Let it be public so that the public will see me. In any case, if people have made determinations, public commentaries on it, is this a difficult thing to ask? Is it so difficult a thing to ask?
Well, I think she's so they're asking for something that the Constitution can grant them. Well, I think the Constitution is pretty clear.
In camera.
Yeah, I think it's so. Well, personally, I think I've heard my opinion. I feel that to make the process legitimate, to cure or prevent the propaganda that it is really a political persecution, I feel that it ought to be made public, personally. But that's asking for reforms, not what she has also said. The law is the law. As the law stands now.
That's an important statement.
Yeah,
right?
it was the law.
The law is the law.
Yeah, as the law stands now, it's in camera. I think the focus, in the wisdom of the framework of the Constitution, they didn't give the judge in question that right of waiver. But I don't think the purpose of that provision was just to protect the judge in question. Yeah, and also the institution, like how my brother here. And so, for me, I do not think it's a matter of you having a waiver, a right of waiver. No, as in if you interpret the Constitution, I do not see that there. And so, the law is the law. Let's allow the law to work. Having said that, probably I think it can be a basis for reforms. Yeah, because my personal view is to protect the judiciary or the independence or the sanctity, integrity of the judiciary will be better protected if this process was made public.
Really? When allegations are made and all of that made public, won't it cause some damage to the institution rather?
No, I rather think that the opaque nature of it makes it very difficult for us to deal with the issue of justice being manifestly seen to be done. Also, unfortunately, because of the manner in which our system has become very partisan, very partisan. So you have a situation where this process has been made, has been turned into an MPP and this issue. So no matter what happens, you can't win because the narrative is being driven that it's the NDC who deliberately wants to remove what's called the CJ. You understand? To the extent that the demonstration has been held, that simply saying that this process, which in my personal opinion entrenches the principle of accountability in our constitution. But the MPP has managed to spin a story that says that it is the judiciary being what's called attacked. Well, when you see when you analyze the persons, also take someone like Daniel Ofori, he's not NDC. And if you know the caliber of the man, can Daniel Ofori be made to petition by, let's say, the NDC? You understand? So I feel that if the process was made public, clear for us to see, we will see the nature of the allegation and then we see the process. It will be almost impossible for any political actor to drive a narrative that suggests that really it is political persecution as against the principles of accountability being entrenched. But having said that, it's just a call for reform. You understand? As things stand today, it is in camera.
The law is the law.
The law is the law, and I don't think the law grants the subject matter of the investigation that right to investigate. But I think that probably is important because the Supreme Court can give his opinion on this issue to settle once
to settle it.
Yeah.
All right, Vincent. Yes, your lawyer is representing the Chief Justice, so we'll come to that in a bit. But why is you have read the petition? I mean, I've read the document. I'm sure the rate and all of that. And I'm not saying you've had in discussions with your lawyer in respect of this. But why should the Chief Justice be calling for this hearing to be made public when the law is the law says that it should be in camera. Are we seeking this time to move away from the law and do something else when the law is the law?
Well, I have had time to make the statement that justice will have to be done, but it must also be seen to be done. There is no doubt that the Constitution clearly demands that this particular proceeding should be held in camera. The question that you should be asking yourself is, when the framers of the Constitution was drafting this Constitution, the preceding discussions that made them have in their mind that this particular proceeding should be done in camera is very key. When matters are of public interest, when ordinary Ghanaian would want to see that indeed a person who is being quote unquote persecuted is indeed given a proper fair hearing, and in that fair hearing there is fair opportunity to be heard. Now, when the person who has been petitioned against feels that the processes that would lead or that may lead to his removal may not be fair, it is incumbent on the committee, the President of the Republic of Ghana, the people of Ghana, to also ensure that when a leader of an arm of government, no mean arm of government like the judiciary, is going to be removed, it should be seen that the right processes were followed and she was treated fairly. Now, it is for the benefit of you and I, the ordinary Ghanaians, okay, to have the benefit of what is really going to happen, especially when, you remember when we went to court, I raised the issue of a likelihood of bias. For that matter, Justice Body should not be part of it. I also raised a likelihood of bias, especially the judges that were initially supposed to have sat on the matter were changed and all that. Justice will have to be seen to be done. You don't have to construe the Constitution to make it look as if that because something has been said in the Constitution, it is cast in stones. That is suicidal. Any attempt to always do that, okay, will lead or may lead to an absurdity that may not be healthy, okay, to the health architecture of the country. So I am not saying that it has not been stated in the Constitution. It has. But if the Chief Justice feels that, oh, a committee has been formed, on that committee, there is a Supreme Court judge who was supposed to sit on the matter, or who was empaneled to sit on my initial application. That is Justice Asiedue Dibu. That same justice has been empaneled as part of the committee. We should be careful of an executive overreach. Okay?
No, but I was going to come to that after dealing with the privacy issue. But once you've raised it, the said judges was penciled to have sat on the matter, but he never did. When the committee, when the panel, the court sat, he was the one who was absent on that day, for which reason the matter was adjourned. So he never sat on the matter.
Please, I have initially told you that let us make sure that when justice is served, it is indeed seen to be served. If you have judges that have been paneled to sit on a crucial matter like this, an important matter like this,
empaneled by the said Chief Justice herself,
which constitutionally, okay, at the time, there was nobody to have done that.
That was her work. There's nothing wrong with that. That was her work, yes.
Yes, at that time, there was nobody to have done that. She was the only person to do that work. It could not have been given to anybody to do. Now, if you change persons who were initially supposed to have sat on the matter, people who are not even lawyers, people who are not even interested in law, common sense will tell you that what is happening. Why did you change the judges?
No, but how many judges were changed? I mean,
three judges were changed, and those 3 judges that were changed just came.
Okay, so who were changed? Do you have their names?
Kolindi was brought to the to be part of it. Tanko was also brought to it, and Bafuboni himself came to chair. So 3 people came onto. 3 people were changed, and 3 people came.
Yeah, but you see, you are moving from the substance of the rates. That matter hasn't been raised. As far I've not seen that yet. Maybe, but that matter. The issue.
I'm building a point.
Yes, it's privacy.
The point,
then we'll move to the disqualification of the 2.
Yes, the point I'm building is that there is a certain executive overreach. That what I am saying is linked to why the Chief Justice is asking for a public hearing.
But what's the executive overreach? The re-empaneling was done by the acting CJ. So what was the executive overreach?
No, the executive overreach is where, one, the President of the Republic of Ghana has empaneled the committee. Part of the membership of the committee was the judge who was supposed to have sat on my application that was supposed to hear the Chief Justice matter. So the Supreme Court judge, first and foremost, okay, has been empaneled to sit on a matter that is against the Chief Justice, okay? And the executive arm of government is able to say that I have empaneled that same judge to be part of the committee. And when you listen to Bafuboni and Kolindi in court at the time, the argument was that because he is now part of the committee, he cannot be made to sit on the case. But the question I will ask you is that which of them preceded the other? What preceded the other was that he was part of the panel, the panel that was sitting at the Supreme Court, that was, as it were, supposed to hear the matter. So it cannot be that because His Excellency the President now empaneled him as part of the committee, because of that, he has been bad or he cannot be seen to be a member of the panel that was hearing the application, or if you like, my case in court. So that is why I'm saying that it seems that the executive...
Why do you blame the executive for this? Yes, and a committee was set up. Maybe the judge himself could have said, oh, Mr. President, maybe you don't know, but I'm already part of a certain panel. That makes it difficult for me to be part of this. I'm just saying. But
the president didn't know that.
I'm just saying, how about the person himself raising the point that, oh, because of ABC, it will be difficult for me to sit on this. Or maybe for this reason, I will have to recuse myself from the panel so I can join the committee. The person himself...
That should not be the burden of ASEDU. It is supposed to be the burden of the President of the Republic of Ghana, who ought to have known that ASEDU has already been empaneled to hear the matter, or if like the application before the Supreme Court. Let it be seen that justice is being served. Let it be seen that necessarily there is nothing like executive overreach.
But listen, just clarify this for me. What's the concern really? Because that panel you're talking about was put together by Justice Tokonu herself. I'm not saying that she put her favorites or her people on the committee, but you know, she's human, yes. So that was empaneled by her. And so shouldn't she be happy that one of the persons she has put on the panel to hear her matter has been found worthy by the executive to sit again on a committee probing or investigating her. That should be good for her, shouldn't it?
Constitutionality, judicial independence, very key.
What's the judicial independence here? The president had a role in 146. Yes. 146 says two judges of the Supreme Court. Mm-hmm. So what's the judicial independence? The Constitution says take two. And it so happens that one of the two sits on this panel.
Judicial independence has been affected because the president used his power to empanel two judges of the Supreme Court to nicely, surreptitiously substitute Adibu Asiedu from sitting on the application that was before the Supreme Court to be part of the committee. That is the point I'm making. Because if you listen to the judges at the Supreme Court, they made mention of the fact that because Justice Adibu Asiedu is part of the committee, he cannot be seen to be sitting on this. And that's what I'm saying. Which one preceded the other? Can it also be suggested to you that all the three judges that were now introduced to listen to my application or to hear my application, all these three judges ruled against my application? That is why I'm saying that let the ordinary bystander feel that justice is indeed served.
But
if the ordinary bystander does not feel so,
but Vincent, you're a practitioner. Is it the first time a panel is changed?
It is not.
So what's the big deal?
I am saying that, okay, Justice Bafuboni was well within the law to empanel the judges, was well within the law to even substitute the judges. Okay, change the panel and make any other judge sit on it. But in doing so, do you want the judiciary that you are chairing to be seen as a judiciary that is not independent on itself, as a judiciary that is not fair, as a judiciary that cannot espouse the simple word called just? Is that what you want to create to the general public? Is that what you want to create to investors? And that is the point I am making. That yes, you have gone ahead to change it, but please make sure that people outside does not see that you are now in bed with the executive, because the executive, or if you like, the president
I'm struggling to see the nexus. I mean, he exercises a right you said he has, or you have confirmed he has under the Constitution. So how does the exercise of that right, what's the connection with the exercise of that right with the executive? I mean, he's doing his work as acting Chief Justice.
If you had listened to my initial comment, you would have seen that I have laid a premise. Justice should be done, but make sure it is seen to be done. So you have served justice. Yes, you have ruled, you have given a ruling. But have you been able to convince the ordinary Ghanaian, an investor, that if I bring $500 million to this country, you won't have a CJ to just change panels about the case that is against me and make sure that it rules for someone who is a Ghanaian? That is the point I'm making. So it is not about what was right. Yes, constitutionally, there was nothing wrong with that. And we stated this in court, that we are not attacking the Chief Justice's power to be able to empanel judges to sit on the matter. No, far from that. But we were admonishing him that please give us confidence.
Very well.
That whatever
you didn't quite address the matter of the privacy for me.
I did.
No, I didn't hear your conclusion on that. Whether it should be made public or the in camera. And you see, one other point to make is that yes, it's about the Chief Justice, also about the institution. Number two, there may be witnesses called. Some of the witnesses may say, "Well, I'm not comfortable appearing on TV or in public. I chose to be part of this because the Constitution protected me by saying that it to be in camera." So if you make it public, you may lose witnesses for and against even the CJ who may not turn up to give evidence. Have you averted your mind to that?
Just suppose this your analogy with a Chief Justice feeling that my right, maybe inalienable right, is trampled upon.
No, you see, that doesn't arise. That doesn't arise because the law.
It arises. Hold on, it arises. I'm making a point.
No, the standard
It
is the
the
law.
fear.
And you see, the law is the law.
Fear.
The standard is the law. And we've seen that. The standard is the law and the law is the law. No matter how you look at it, the standard is the law. The law has spelled out how it should be done. And for that reason, I have agreed to appear as a witness in the matter. And now if all of a sudden you change that, then you have been unfair to me as a witness rather. Because the basis for me wanting to join the process is because I've been given some protection by virtue of the in-camera nature of the hearing. So now who suffers?
I am saying to you, okay, that there's nothing ambiguous about the clarity of the law in terms of how the procedure is supposed to be done. In the Utaderi case, when Anas was showing the videos to everybody, the court did not say that because the matter will have to be done in camera and some aspect of the evidence has been shown to the public, it should negate whatever is happening. No, the court allowed the process to continue. It is my considered suggesting to you that whilst the law is clear on that, it has been stated black and white, you and I know that currently, as per the Interpretation Act of Ghana, if you are interpreting the Constitution, you do so purposively to be able to achieve a certain result. What result? A result that after you interpret it, the society that the law is supposed to govern, okay, will not see that, something has gone wrong. And I am suggesting to you that in circumstances like this, when the matter is of public interest, that the international community is also...
Vincent, interpretation, you don't just get up and interpret. There are things which come up. Is ambiguity, does it lend itself to multiple meanings, etc. But this is in camera, it's black and white. If the ordinary meaning means what it is, there'll be no point in seeking, and has been ruled upon. There'll be no point in seeking interpretation.
That is why I want you to take the whole matter into context. The CJ himself have sent an application to court, an interlocutory application, and in that application, she is indicating
she's waiving her rights.
Yes, absolutely. Things that affect her right.
Yes, but there are other people who have rights in the matter as well. So in balancing the rights, how do you balance it? You balance it on the basis of what is written in black and white, which has been there since 1992.
The Chief Justice has every right to protect her rights. The Chief Justice has every right to feel that whatever is going to happen at the committee will be fair to her. The Chief Justice has every right to suspect.
And what's fairness? Fairness also means following the rules, right?
Yes, following the rules.
And the rule says
an impression, let everybody be satisfied. Let investors, let the generality of the Ghanaian people be satisfied that the final decision or a final decision to even remove the Chief Justice was not done or will not be done by the fact that I am bent on removing the Chief Justice. And I've already made this claim, or if you like, the affidavit that I attached in my supplementary affidavit with the application of the interlocutory application that I made at Supreme Court, that the President and other well-meaning NDC persons have already indicated that they wanted to take off the CJ. Yesterday, when you read
the President said that?
Of course, the President, when Sewa asked her a question when he met the media, he was very clear on that
he will remove the CJ.
Balance. Yes, there should be a balance on the Supreme Court.
But does that mean the removal of the CJ?
What does that mean?
Oh, Vincent, if somebody is calling for,
what does that mean?
No, I don't know about balancing, which means removing the CJ.
Why not Henrietta Bonsu? Why not any of them? There are other NDC persons who have said it clear. In fact, said it clear that the Chief Justice should be removed. In fact, left to him alone, he should resign. Mustafa Gandhi, they have all said it. Let's not play ostriches.
No, you
so
mentioned I didn't hear the president say that, and I needed to point it out. I didn't hear him say that. Others may have said things.
The president said that he when he comes, one, he's going to make sure that the Supreme Court is balanced to the extent that the number will be, as it were, pegged at 15.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean the CJ should be removed. The point in contention is the removal.
Did he ever say that lawyers of the NDC should prepare themselves to be on the Supreme Court?
That is not what we are discussing. We are discussing the removal.
I'm
of the
just telling you why the Chief Justice will feel that on the committee there may not be fairness. So allow the public to see whatever is happening. Allow the public to also agree that at the committee level, okay, her right and, if you like, fairness is going to be seen at the committee level, because now...
Very well. I wanted to go around once and come back, but once you ask it...
She doesn't feel that there will be fairness.
Great.
But let me end with this.
Quickly,
with this. When you check the processes of the committee, it seems to me that after the committee is done with its investigations, the president will have to, as it were, apply the recommendations of the committee. And that has been stated by the Constitution, right? Check Article 1. Is it 125? Let me be sure. I think Article 1253, which says that, yes, 1253, that the judicial power of Ghana shall be vested in the judiciary. Accordingly, neither the president, nor parliament, nor any organ of the agency of the president or parliament shall have or be given final judicial power. The president...
What's the point there?
I'm coming there. The president, parliament, any agency or whatsoever under the president or parliament shall not be given final judicial power. This committee, okay, per my understanding of Article 1253, shall not or should not be given final judicial power. When you check how commission of inquiries are supposed to be done, okay, one, it is supposed to be done in public. The decision of the inquiry, or if you like, the decision as to what will be the resultant effect of the decision of a commission of inquiry is that it is supposed to be seen as a high court decision, and anybody who wants to appeal will have to do so at the court of appeal. So in that case, or in that instance, final decision has not been given to the commission of inquiry because it is not the final judicial decision-making body. Secondly, if you check how the National House of Chiefs, when decisions are made,
they can go to the Supreme Court. So it's not the final judicial authority. Yes.
Absolutely. So I am making a point to you that a right of appeal, and it is something that I may be considering, a right of appeal should be given.
But listen, I get that point. But that's a point for reform, all right? That you may make that point to Professor H.K. Prempeh and co.
You can even seek an interpretation on. But I'm just saying that in these circumstances, okay, it is even possible that if anybody is given an opportunity to interpret the Constitution holistically, we will now say that the president may not have the right to simply apply.
No, but the word used by the Constitution is recommend. The word used by the Constitution is recommend. I mean, in 146. What is it? 146(7). So the committee appointed under Clause 6 of this article shall inquire into the petition and recommend to the president whether the Chief Justice ought to be removed from office. So maybe we have to seek interpretation again on the meaning of recommend. But recommend is an English word.
That there's a right of appeal that is supposed to be given.
Whether not even the committee of inquiry under article.
Say that again. Say it loud.
Or even to consider that the committee set here is a committee of inquiry as
2186. All right, very well. So you've been speaking for a while. I wanted to make you continue, but let me bring in Franklin. I will come back to you hopefully. Franklin, a lot of legal jargons here and there. I know as civil society and as media people, we will be happy to see the proceedings in public so we can hear for ourselves and look at the drama and we see us. I mean, if Chachi Chikata and Co are the lawyers, see Chachi Chikata and see Tadio Sori and see Oliver Bakavama, cross-examining people and all that. We would love to see that. But the law is the law, no matter how you look at it. The law is saying in camera. This is an application before the courts, not to pronounce on it, but what's your thinking? You think it should be made, you think it should be in camera or in fidelity with the law, or the Chief Justice could waive her right and say, no, it's about me, make it public?
Well, initially, what I've been thinking that what exactly do we lose if this was made public? I've been told that somehow I've been told that the even if it was made public because of the likely, maybe the explosive nature of some of the things we may hear, and eventually if the Chief Justice gets vindicated or exonerated, then somehow it becomes so difficult for her to, have that collegiate feeling with her colleagues. And I wondered, well, in the same vein, even if it was done in camera, and then we get to know that she was actually exonerated, wouldn't this still have the same effect in the, So my point is, I don't see I don't see how, should I call it sanctimonious or whether it is legal or not. I mean, the fact that it's legal, that we should stay by the rule book and say, we should go by the rule book and say that look, this is exactly how it ought to be done. I don't know what she also wants to achieve by having this thing go public. I don't know whether it's a landmine that is waiting to explode. I really don't know what the issues really are, but I strongly think that, look, either way, look, I really don't care. But first, probably in the interest of the public and transparency, we should actually see these go live. Anyway,
But what do you say about people who talk about witnesses who may appear? The witnesses may not be comfortable being in public, given that perhaps somebody will want to be a witness because the person knows that this is in camera. And once you are represented, your lawyers are represented, generally, that should be enough.
Well, so I'm struggling to understand this whole process. By the way, you lawyers should probably help. I mean, the accusations have been made against, petitions have been written against the Chief Justice. Do we know the contents of the petition?
We don't officially know, but we've seen some documents flying around. Yes.
Good, and we've been speculating all this while, and then all of a sudden, we are being asked to discuss why this should go public or not. I mean, I'm asking myself, if the process says the petition themselves should be kept out of the public view, and we've been discussing this for a very long time, right? And then someone says, oh, no, listen, irrespective of whatever the law says, I want it to be televised. I don't know who is breaking the rule here. Look, however this thing goes down, I believe that the fair processes of the fair process will be applied. The how do you call it? The Chief Justice must get justice, and justice must be seen to be done. Is that not what you people say? Whether in camera or out of camera? I frankly, I don't see how this whole conversation about having things done in a particular way actually endures to benefit for those of us who just want the proper things done. I don't know. Even if she gets exonerated, probably doesn't get exonerated, we should then appeal. Are we going to see all these processes? If the law says this is the way it ought to be done, maybe we should stick to that for the meantime. But I think that because of the controversy around this whole matter, maybe we should have it telecast live. Maybe it's the last. That's a last hope, really. Frankly, I don't know. Most of the things I keep hearing, embezzlement here, we don't know. So maybe that's why she's saying that we should be live, so that we all get to know exactly what is happening. But I struggle to see how eventually I struggle to see how she'll come out of this this whole thing, probably win it, or I don't know. If I were, I would have given up already. I really don't see why she's fighting
No, I think she wants to fight it. She may win. She trusts.
But
she
and
trusts
again,
the system,
the choice of people to represent us.
So we'll deal with that after this break. I mean, we'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll spend a minute each on the choice of the Chief Justice's Council and what that could mean for the whole process. This is the big issue. Don't go away.
Introducing Betway's Bet Influencer, a groundbreaking feature where you can make money by just sharing codes. He just needs to share his codes and make money. The more his codes are used, the more money he makes. Oh yes, so what are you waiting for? Anyone can be a bet influencer. Share your codes and make money. Bet Influencer, another world first from Betway.
This advert has been approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Betway, get way more.
Yes, you're welcome back. This is The Big Issue on 97.3 City FM. We're also live on Channel 1 Television and also on a number of our affiliates and on YouTube. Your messages, a lot of them have been coming. There's a very long one, a very, very long one from Nana Kwame, Nana Kwame, I can't read it. This is like 5 pages. It said it's absolutely crucial to get the facts of the matter right. The petition sent by Adenta Kumi to the president to direct the judges. Charlie, this is long. See, I see nothing wrong with his arrest, considering the fact that national security operatives who went to his place did so with a valid warrant and all of that. We said you don't see anything wrong with the process followed. It would be expedient if MPP allow the president to continue championing the much heralded economic recovery and reset agenda and all of that. So that's Nakwame. This other one too from IAB ISTAR, Mausi, says the supporters of national security operations must understand that measures are vital for national safety regardless of the political affiliations. This other one from Prince Henry says that the suspended CJ must know that she is the cause of her own problems. She must know that whatever action President Mahama has taken is in the tangent of the laws of the country, and the law is the law, and so shall it be. This is Prince Henry in Koforidua. And Togbu Dobu wanted to find out from Vincent whether Kenneth Furata is back in town as per his May date promise, because his May date promise is due. Was it May or June? Well, we can check that. Or we'll check from the office of the special prosecutor whether he has been in touch with him. Right, so we're just wrapping up, very final lap of the show. The issue about Godfred Dami as lawyer for the Chief Justice has come up for some discussion. And Godfred Dami himself knows that, so he has spoken on this. He granted my colleague, Hansen Ajimand, a brief interview on some of the matters. Let's hear him.
This marks the second action by Justice Gertrude Tokono in relation to the ongoing removal proceedings. Her initial move was to request access to the full content of the portions prior to a prima facie determination. In the latest suit filed at the Supreme Court, led by former Attorney General Godfred Dami, Justice Tokono argues that a private hearing will not serve the ends of justice or promote transparency in a matter of such national significance.
Everything about this petition has been put out in the public domain already. And the Chief Justice has been damnified, has been condemned, and all by leading members of the government and all that. And when it comes to her, her side of the case, opportunity for her to state her side of the case, then the state requires that it should be in camera, it should be in secrecy. It cannot be in secrecy. There ought to be light on the proceedings.
Mr. Dami further criticized the president's approach to the prima facie determination, describing it as lacking a reasoned ruling and falling victim short of constitutional expectations.
So the prima facie determination that I have seen and which I have attached in my processes before the Supreme Court was just simple. That the Council of State has been consulted on the petition before you. The Council of State is of the view that there's a case for you to answer in spite of the 3 petitions. And
that's only that?
That is the only, yes, it's all before the court.
All right, you're welcome back. Big issue. 97.3 City FM. Very final up. I give it 2 minutes each to my guests on this matter. Godfrey Dame is a lawyer, former Attorney General, former Deputy Attorney General, distinguished lawyer, indeed. I start off with me. Many people have said that given the political nature of this and all of that has been happening, Godfrey Dame should not, or the CJ shouldn't have chosen Godfrey Dame as a lawyer because it further deepens the partisan lines or the partisan nature that this particular matter is traveling. He's been Deputy Attorney General, and indeed, a lot of the things that the ordinary people against the CJ are saying are in respect of how she, quote unquote, was lenient or favorable to the actual government led by Godfrey Dame in court. And now the same Godfrey Dame is the one appearing as your lawyer. It sends some pictures or optics which may not be very right. These are not in law, really. This is in the court of public opinion. What do you say?
I always like to ground myself in the law because I think that the law
is the law.
The law is the law. You understand? Yes, and the constitutional principle is you're entitled to a lawyer of your choice. And so you can't attack somebody for going to pick a particular lawyer. The effect of the decision is also there. So there's a decision that you take, and then the effect of the decision is also there. So you can't deny somebody a right. You understand? Just like we say in law, you would present the evidence. It's the weight and the effect of that evidence that would play out. Because sometimes your own evidence gets you in problems. Sometimes when you present evidence that you shouldn't sometimes have presented. So let's respect her decision. She is a party to a matter. She has elected to take a lawyer. Nobody can impose a lawyer on her. That would be against the law. And you see, every single step in the provision, the Constitution says the subject matter of the subject of the proceedings has a right to counsel. You understand? So if you attempt to interfere with that right, and you try to say that no, she has to change her lawyer, you are interfering with a right that is constitutional. You understand? And remember, all of us have agreed that the process and the sanctity of the process must be clean. So that at the end of the day, that will not now become a ground for somebody to go and sit somewhere and say that, oh, when the person chose this particular lawyer, you went to protest. You put pressure on her to change her lawyer. You understand? We all want the process to be such that when it comes to an end, you would have very little basis to complain. So I think that we must respect her decision to take a particular lawyer. Whether you like it or not is not the issue.
That's her choice.
And she will then be what? Responsible for the outcome of the choice that she has made.
Very well. Andrew, same point. Optics versus right, etc.
Yeah, so legally, I think I don't know for us with my brother, but whether we like it or not, there's also politics. As in we can't end.
That's why I talk about effect.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, so whether we like it or not, this politics, whether we all like it or not, there was a perception over the last 8 years about the judiciary, especially also about the CJ herself. So as much as I agree that she has a right to choose her own counsel and we should not do anything to undermine that right, in terms of the politics of it, I think it gives credence to the belief that she was in bed with the previous regime and the fact that also this process sadly has been politicized. So that's a perception that we cannot run away from. But having said that, whether perception or no perception, her right to counsel is one that shouldn't be undermined, or we shouldn't take it from her. And she has a right to choose, probably in her opinion, Godfrey Dame, who I must say is a very distinguished, very sharp lawyer. Probably in her opinion is the best person to help her, but we can't take the politics from it. And I think in terms of the optics, if you push me to the wall, it doesn't look too good.
I see. Vincent, your lawyer in the same matter, similar matter, or related matter is a lawyer the CJ has found useful the Venerable Godfrey Dame, former Attorney General of our Republic. What do you make of the section of the public's view that going for Dame entrenches a certain perception that, oh, I see, so all along what we are saying is true, you were in bed with the opposite side, I mean, the MPP when they were in government. That's how come we saw some judgments from the courts. What do you say to that?
So, in principle, okay, I think that to avert public suspicion, okay, from thinking that there is a certain nexus between the Chief Justice and Dame, and by extension maybe the MPP. Upon hindsight, maybe she should have chosen a different lawyer, in principle. It is also possible that having been on the bench for some time, he has seen lawyers appearing before her, and Dame for the past 10 years has been very active at the Supreme Court. And she felt that in these circumstances, especially a matter that has also a political nature, this is the lawyer that can probably help. But you see, if a client has an unfettered access to any lawyer of her choice, which is actually the case, it is also important that you do so that suspicions like this will be averted. So in principle, yes, one, it is legal, it is lawful, there's nothing wrong with that, but it could have been averted so that people will not be having that kind of mentality that there's a certain nexus between the MPP, or if you like, Dame, and the Chief Justice.
Given that Dame is your lawyer as well, have you, just by chance, mentioned this view of yours to him?
No, I haven't spoken to him. I only saw, but I mean, he's a practicing lawyer. If somebody brings a case to me, I don't think I'm going to call Dame to tell him that I have this case, unless, of course, we are practicing from the same chambers.
I mean, I'm saying so because you are related to the matter in some respect, because he dealt with your matter in court and this, all of this, all together. No,
I mean, I haven't. That's what I'm saying. That it doesn't stop Tokono from engaging Dame. That is her own prerogative.
Her own right. And so, okay, very well. Thanks so much. Franklin, very final word from you. You are a civil society person. You gauge public mood, etc. I mean, legally, yes, Dame is the man CJ has gone for, CJ Tokono has gone for. What do you make of the public comment on the choice of her lawyer?
Oh, I think public commentary is not kind to him and her at all. In fact, I've actually taken the position as well, as my good brother Vincent suggested. I didn't think the optics were right for her to go for him. It seems to me he probably inserted himself in the whole process that, look, I really want to represent you. Otherwise, I would think the Chief Justice probably was a bit more confused. And there are senior lawyers that are not really tied to any of the political parties that I suspect. If she had gone for, then in fact, that would really be a very interesting scenario, because then this whole call for public screening of this would have even had more legitimacy, So much as I agree with Dame at some point that, look, the whole petition is already out anyway. So what's the point? Let's have the thing done anyway. I think he being the person calling for that is a bit more, knowing the things he's done, witness tampering, all the things, coaching Jakba and the rest. It doesn't sound like a credible person to be representing somebody in trouble. He's actually just deepening the wounds of the CJ, former CJ. Well, sorry, not former CJ, suspended CJ.
Very well. Thanks so much. Franklin Kudjo, the president of Imani Africa, has been my guest today. Also, Andrews Apia Dankwa, spokesperson, Movement for Change, and of course, a private legal practitioner himself. Nick Pakpo Samoa Ado is a private legal practitioner, member of the NDC Legal and Communication teams. And Vincent Asefua, Eko Asefua, member of parliament from Old Tafo, also a private legal practitioner. My name is Selorm Adonoo. Have a good afternoon.
That's right. Alright, Heritage Caravan 2025. That's right. Let's do this. Sober. Sober. Are you sober? Sober. Sober. Ba 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 ba. Sober. 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 Hey. Sampedo. Sikodo. 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 Oh, I. Send me call down and make me responsibility. Say, see me nice, so. My show be the man I command in the grassy me tree, so. Hey. Bimbo, Piara, but today and time when every day I am so. Although you wait, oh, I. Enough of them, they jealous me, yeah. Cause you love me alone, and you know what no two I see, yeah. And show me pay was Sarah, only you are the see, yeah. Me no see no other girl or them ones where they rushing at me DM. Or some brother from Sabe woman. Sabe way into the eye. Or some brother from Sabe woman. He say so. Or some brother from Sabe woman. Who and Yashi? Who mama? Who mama? Me say me who and Yashi? Who mama? Who mama? Me say me who and Yashi? Who mama? Who mama? Me say you and
my love, I say make you no cry. Sweetie Charlie, you the fast for me, I say Charlie, you the child. You like my wall like some bobo. You make her no say this star no be go. Say Kashiva boy, Kakobo, Bisumobo, Bochi, I bobo. She says she love my vanilla. Me too, and they love your vanilla. Mama, baby girl, I say, make you show them. Low tempo, go. Make it on the low tempo. Down low, make you show them. I was style be low tempo. My baby, I like her. Only you every day I want to see for my side, Pressure no go fi catch me, no be this time, Be your mama and you be my daddy. I be one kind of way you never know about me. You for know me, I know the joke. We are the best thing, no love for the road. Be your mama and you be my daddy. I be one kind of way you never know about me. You for know me, I know the joke. We are the best thing, no love for the road. Mala, golala, baby girl, I say make you show them. That's right, go low. Masurikati, and I'm a no rekeke or someone amo. Menu of Huri, Masurikati, and I'm a no rekeke or someone amo. And see what mommy came here. What mommy came here. Missy, what mommy came here. What mommy came here. What mommy came here. What mommy came here. Missy, what mommy came here. What mommy came here. Basima, sima, sima. Yentina Messi, show your love, oh baby. Show your love, share what the. Mami, uno de. Odo, yeah, that's in Ziga. Odo, yeah, that's in Ziga. Show your love, share what the. Mami, uno de. Odo, yeah, that's in Ziga. Odo, yeah, that's in Ziga. Show your love, share what the. Mami, uno de. Odo, yeah, that's in Ziga. Odo, yeah, that's in Ziga. Show your love.
Shake that thing for me, wind that thing for me. I really love it, I really like it, oh girl. I say shake that thing for me, wind that thing for me. I really love it, I really like it, oh girl. Hey, whether you be African girl, whether you be European girl, whether you be Ghanaian girl, come wind it up, wind it up, wind it up. Whether you be African girl, whether you be European girl, whether you be Ghanaian girl.
this on the block, yo.
Guanido, Dictido, Guanido, Barbalida. Hey, all my ladies in the claps, let me see you bounce. If you really wanna dance, baby, touch down. Check your body, touch your body, merry-go-round. So many ladies are feeling it, check my flow now. She be my African girl, she be my time on the pearl. She be my lady for real, she go a beautiful girl. God is a beautiful girl, my number one in the world. Check it, you know what time it is. Keep on checking your body, you and me for the party. Check your booty for your money, whoop up a penny granny. If I was a sugar mommy, whoop my mama looking funny. We'll go to bed, I'm a nanny, me to come for my money. Me them a shot you for one corner. To the boogie to the beat, to my chinchilla. Chinchilla, we say any beast be in your fella. Fella would never go bang for you, be a shella. You rap too good, me tight china. Hey, me look good, me back, I got it to my hands on the black one time. I got that, yeah. I got a serious message, yo. Where somebody catch some girl before caravan.
Hey, for here.
The girl be nice, so. Nice girls. Now your heart jump like a cat over the wall. That is girl, you go die, oh. Now you be love, oh.
A soldier, a soldier, a soldier.
Soldier. Honey, 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 honey.
Benewa.
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 Hey, I'm a children, me pay oh. Where we are, my kuma, I push a baby bow. Oh, some Rossier. Hey, my kuma with toffee, oh. Only me susu, I di metio, only me sio. I mean no more, only me diante. Hey, I mean you, on your mother, bad bye. Let's go for the hey, yes, you're dead, or dead, you. I'm natural me. Hey, Kialinda, natural me. Hey, what more do you do? Hey, what more do you do? Hey, with your dog, what's up? Hey, see, I'm way. Hey, see, I'm way. One name is Cinderella. Cinderella. One name is Cinderella. Cinderella. My ship one of you open door. Cinderella. We saw the on your door open door. Cinderella. Now where I go there?
Oh, she's around.
Where she did?
Oh, she's around.
She did. You see her?
Yeah, you be up.
Are ladies in the house?
Are the ladies in the house?
Are ladies in the house?
Make some noise.
Okay, now we hear some noise. So you know what you're going to do? You're going to do this together. All the ladies, the boys, you know they want. I beg. And the man frame away. So let's do this together. I love you too, baby. I love you too, baby. I love you all. Oh, beautiful Vicky. Let's go again. I love you too, baby. I love you all. I love you too, baby. I love you all. I go born beautiful Vicky. For you all. I go born beautiful Vicky. For you all. So don't worry, oh baby. Don't worry, oh. Mine is for you, oh. Mine is for you, baby. Mine is for you. All right now. Hey. All right, boys know how. Boys know how. It's very simple. Hey. Hey, hey. All right now. One more time now. Hey. They're going to say, oh, yeah, damn yeah. Yeah. Sisi Mudinti, we are damn yeah. Yeah. Ejuma Dinti, we are damn yeah. And so me are that way. Me are that way. Ujigami and Fabeji. Ujigami and Fabeji.
Wow! What was that? With Eddie Bergs on the drums, you are sure to have good vibes and a swirl time. Imagine being walked away from your family and being told that your new home will be an orphanage. This is the story of Richard Kofi, administrator of Basco. He shares this and more.
I wasn't with my parents. I was staying with one auntie because my dad was very, very, very sick as at that time. It wasn't really easy, even though I was brilliant, and but then the means to really push forward wasn't there. Yeah. We were walking, and I was like, where are we going?
The middle of the bush.
If you had to turn sideways, it's bush all over. I was like, where are we going? There's no light.
To cap it all, let's dance with the famous players. So, make a date with us this Sunday at 7 p.m. prompt, only on Channel 1 TV. Calling all farmers, agribusinesses, and innovators, this is your chance to shine. Channel 1 TV invites you to exhibit at AgriFair 2025, one of Ghana's largest agriculture exhibitions. From Friday 20th to Sunday the 22nd of June, the A4 Sutherland Children's Park in Accra will come alive with the very best from Ghana's agribusiness sector. Are you a farmer with fresh produce of any kind? Be it crops, livestock or poultry, fisheries or aquaculture, or you're a supplier of agro inputs and processing machinery? This is your platform to connect with the world. AgriFair 2025 is more than an exhibition. Showcase your fresh produce, share your expertise and experience, and grow your business. So, to all farmers with fresh produce, livestock or poultry, fisheries or aquaculture products, come, sell, network, and expand your business. AgriFair 2025, where culture meets innovation. Register now to secure your spot. Call us on 0205 973 973. Come one, come all. Enjoy the freshest farm produce at unbeatable prices. And treat yourself to sizzling kebabs made from beef, mutton, pork, chicken, and more. Great taste, great value. Don't miss out. The AgriFair 2025 is powered by Channel 1 TV with support from 97.3 CDFM and is proudly sponsored by Exim Bank, Legacy Crop Improvement Center, and Development Bank Ghana.
Welcome. It's Play to 8.
Get ready for the game show where every play has a purpose. Welcome to Play to 8, the only game show where your knowledge and skill don't just win you prizes, they help change lives.
What sport is considered the most popular in the world?
Every point you earn goes toward real-world support, from school supplies to health kits, clean water to emergency relief. Play smart, play big, Play to 8. Catch all the action, the drama, and the heat.
Most commonly spoken language in Brazil.